Yeah. All right, y'all. You know how we be doing. Nothing but real nigga conversation. Let me catch a vibe, though. Kissing babies and shaking hands, man. Out here doing.
Yeah.
What the fuck I got to do out here to make it black, open, and you are now experiencing
Talk to him,
the
Boss
world famous
Talk to him, BossMack.
BossMack podcast.
Chip.
RNS, y'all. RN motherfucking S.
Let's go.
Oh, yes. Today is a beautiful day. I'm happy as fuck to be up in here doing this.
Game time.
Y'all niggas already know how I get down.
Chip.
Nothing but good game when I come around.
Chip.
BossMack topsoil, y'all got to love the sound. Whoa. Yes, indeed. Here to give you what you need with speed. Real niggas always in the league.
Straight up.
What's up with y'all out there? All right, let me get this fan.
Yes, sir. Marv, what's going on today, big dog?
Man, I'm just happy to be here with you today, and
Yes, sir.
glad you called me out.
Yes, sir.
Hood love.
Okay, we got some
Feel me.
special guests in this motherfucker today. We got Melvin Farmer
Chip.
and Ayatollah Marv up in here with the BossMack topsoil tonight. And I got my guy Boogaloo in here with me.
Shout out to the fat bitches riding dick with a t-shirt on.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Melvin Farmer is AKA Scud too, you know what I mean, for y'all that don't know. You go by
Everybody.
Scud, right?
Hey, thank you for having me here,
Yes,
young
sir.
guys, young players, to let our voices be heard. We really appreciate that.
Straight up. Would you rather us call you,
Melvin Farmer. When you
That's
say
what-
Melvin, they pretty much say Farmer.
there it is there. We got Melvin in this motherfucker. And OG Marv.
An OG Marv.
OG, you know who used to tell me that Lawrence Cartwright, that's your OG name. You know, they didn't really like, you know, back then they called you by your name. That was gangster back then.
That's right.
They come from that generation, dog.
Yo. Well, y'all know the show is always brought to you by BossMack Streetwear. You could go through BossMack Streetwear right now and tap in and cop some BossMack Streetwear. You see the BossMack got on some BossMack Streetwear right now. This some of that PG shit right here.
Fly shit.
Or
Fly.
you could get the offensive shit, you know, the bitch relax, you know, world famous As Rock by Snoop Dogg and others, you know what I'm talking about.
Classic.
You know, we put game on the shirt to make bitches want to flirt every single time, man. Fuck with us, don't fuck with them. Also, the show is brought to you by BossMack giving you game. If you need some game because you're struggling with your bitch out there, holla at the BossMack topsoil. We got the reasonable rates that's great. You feel me? We taking care of you every single time. We will not let you down. All right, and like I said, we got some illustrious individuals in the building. We got, like I said, we got Ayatollah Marv and Melvin Farmer in the building with us.
Whoa.
Highly sought after, making a lot of waves out there right now. Marv, how you doing?
That's Melvin.
I mean, my bad, Melvin.
I'm Marvin.
I'm
Come on.
They do us like this all the time.
Nah.
We don't even trip. We don't even trip.
It's all good.
The people that know us real well will call me Melvin. No, I told her. And they call Melvin Marvin. So we like matching bookends. We don't care.
Okay.
Matter of fact, can I ask you a question about your boss relationship shit?
BossMack.
BossMack relationship. You do that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And you
yeah.
help relationships, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You take food stamps.
Oh,
Yeah, man. If a nigga offer me
Because I got
some.
broke bitches, but I got stamps. So I just want to know, because I'm not the club president, but I
Yeah.
want to get in the club.
Yeah,
straight up.
I take some food stamps though,
yeah,
man,
all right.
for sure,
So
man.
I need an appointment.
Yeah.
Niggas gotta eat.
I would take some food stamps for sure, man.
Nigga gotta eat. You know?
You know what, man? I'm not. I use EBT all the time, man. You know what I'm saying?
I used some today at the fish market.
You understand me? Hey.
I got stamps from '79. I got the black, the red, the
Yeah.
green, the nickel.
Oh, you still got some?
I still got some from '79. I hold on to them.
You gotta send me a picture, Marv. You gotta send me a picture, Marv.
Yeah, I still use them bad boys. I ain't no shame in the game, man. But Marv, how you doing today? How's your day going?
Man, it ain't no count time, so it's a beautiful day.
It ain't no count time.
As long as it ain't no count time.
I like that.
I feel you. Melvin, how you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing great, man. We just come back from filming in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas area, and a couple of, we did like what, Marv, 3 shows out there?
4.
4. Boss Talk, y'all tune into that. And another young man, I think it's Dallas Mogul, and Zeke TV, and I forgot the other one. And we also got to hear the story of a 15-year-old youth that was shot in the face out of Mississippi who had came to meet us, because a lot of people don't know. Kids from all over, wherever we go, that's really from the streets and in the struggle.
Right.
They come to pay homage and hear the wisdom they got. So it was a fun trip, a happy trip, to where it made us feel proud that we were giving back to the community.
Yeah.
You know what, man? I got to give it to y'all too, man. First of all, man, I respect what y'all did with that situation. Y'all niggas went to Texas, to meet the nigga Charleston White, and he left out of the interview, and they stayed there. There's a lot of motherfuckers saying they tough, there's a lot of motherfuckers saying this and that and all that, but they actually went to a nigga state. Let's clap that up.
I saw that. I appreciate it.
State.
I appreciated that episode. I feel like he set that up though from the gate though. Like I feel like
Well, you know, this dude is not. He's not a debater. He's a shock jock. He's somebody who wants to get his in.
yeah.
And he don't want no comeback. He's not going. You never set him sitting across from somebody with an opposite opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
You know. And then when he made the statement, I mean, what he was saying first, it didn't really resonate to me until him and Mob James got into it, and then he went on a white man's channel and said, "Fuck Buncherell."
Yeah.
Some of us is real, you know, heard about what happened to Buncher because it was political.
Right.
And Mob James never said it. Fuck his crackhead grandmother, his dopehead aunt, or his nymphomaniac mama.
Yeah.
But you going into this man's family. And so everybody, man, fuck that nigga. So I got in contact with Melvin, and he said, man, when you want to hook it up? So he got in contact with them. He said, yeah, well, man, dude is getting kind of reckless.
Yeah.
So everybody, a couple of homies said, man, when you was down there, you should have slapped him. Well, you should have got a plane ticket and went there yourself.
Right, and come help.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't had to help.
Because y'all
You
was the only ones that went there.
You know, so this nigga tell ain't nobody from the West Coast gonna come to Dallas. We gonna do this, we'll do that. But Melvin told him, nigga, we here. California here.
Facts.
You understand me?
Facts.
So wherever it is, wherever you want to meet us at, we coming.
Straight up.
You dig what I'm saying? So you can sell them wolf tickets to some up, but not us.
Not the other.
I got more years behind me than I got in front of me. So you can't win fucking with me.
And another thing a lot of people don't know is I brought Charleston White. I used to manage Charleston White.
What?
See-
What does he do?
No, when he came in, he came to L.A. to meet me
Okay.
in 2018.
Okay.
He was never no gangbanger. That shit about he a rolling 60 and he came to L.A., that's not true. He never was no gangbanger.
Let's set the record
And
straight.
he had been a fan following me and came up to meet me. I got the video and all that shit.
Okay.
And so this one he wasn't acting to, because sometimes all of us say things, not just him, all of us say things that are pertinent and make sense. There's no disputing that.
Right.
So me, Alex Alonso, in fact, these are the contradictions. Me, Alex Alonso, I host a yearly special in honor of Tookie in December.
Okay.
His execution date and his birthday. We had celebrated his homegoing, and we also celebrate his coming into this earth in the same month. So I was hosting a special, and I invited him on there. Then when he talked about he went to Nipsey Hussle, that came through me.
So you the one that took him to the
yeah, I went with the
shit.
Rolling 60s. This at Nipsey Hussle. If you look, you'll see me talking to Black Sam. I'm up there with Farrakhan. Game is on the side. Snoop. Then I go and we go and kick it. But yeah, he went up there.
He was nice as ice. He wasn't on no tough shit.
Nah.
None
He
of
knew
that.
1,001 ways to shake hands, bro.
Facts.
No, he wasn't talking on no bullshit or nothing like that. And then after when he got robbed,
Okay, that's
when
what I wanted
shit
to ask you.
changed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's what I heard, that he was doing some business out here, some LA niggas robbed him, and then that's when everything switched up. So that is true.
Well, it come from me. Nobody outside of Texas know him better than me.
Okay.
Every day he come, and when you hear shit, but I only let him see the organic shit because I didn't know him. So people see, oh, when I see Melvin, he didn't have this, that's because I didn't show you shit.
Facts.
Didn't break the law with you because I don't know who you is. A gang of people come and meet me every day from all over. Hey, point me in this direction, point me in that direction. So at the end of the day, he started talking about people that he met through me. See, it's a difference. It ain't like Melvin mad because somebody's saying something about Crips or Bloods. That shit's been said. Telephone and tell a nigga. That's nothing new. But the point that I got a problem with him is you're talking about people you met through me that gave you love, nigga. And they ain't did nothing to you, then you lying. See, we don't do no fact checks. Nobody held accountable. When we talked to him in person, he couldn't just run his mouth.
Right.
See, there
Because
was
you knew all the facts.
I knew all the facts, so the truth and a lie can never coexist in a conversation.
Real shit.
That's why they don't match us up with nobody. We take on any commerce about what we do in these communities from a grassroots standpoint. You ain't gonna match up. You ain't gonna match up.
Damn, boy, that nigga's a hoe.
Yeah, I when I looked at that Boss Talk episode that he walked out on, I had the feeling like he set y'all up for that. Like it was his plan to walk out on y'all all along, like from the gate type shit.
No, I don't think it was a plan because it wasn't even planned for me to be up there. Marv had took the time out for 3 or 4 days to where he had questions already written to where Marv and him was going to talk. They asked me to come up there, but I had told Charleston White outside before the show even started, don't get up here saying fuck this, fuck that about niggas you know in front of me or else we're going to have a problem.
Straight up.
Right.
Straight up.
See, a lot of people didn't know he had a girl there that looked like a police. That's why I didn't go and escalate further.
Yeah.
Because the cameras could always get cut. In fact, they wasn't going to even show it on Marv.
Right.
And we said no. I'd say, man, they say, should we run it? Marv them then. And I knew Boss Talk. Marv I had been knowing Boss Talk, and Marv, because we did something. So I told Boss Talk, that's the shot, man. Run it like it is. Don't cut it.
Right.
He said it ain't nothing but 22, 20. I said it's going to be the hottest thing on the internet.
Straight up.
Run it.
Straight up.
Straight
Straight
like
up.
it is in the raw.
Right.
So
right.
he never knew that. He was thinking that he was just meeting with Marv. He didn't even know
No.
that.
No,
was
he
there.
knew he was coming
He
to
set
talk.
it up. In
They
fact,
they had talked. You dig what I'm saying? So he had told, but I didn't know him from a can of paint.
Right.
And when he came in, they was outside talking. I was inside. His wife came in, and they introduced me to his wife. And when we came in, we sat down, and it was supposed to be a general discussion on some basic shit. That's how we thought. So now Melvin had already gave him. So I tell him, I said, well, check this out, homie. I said, we've never. So everybody's like, oh, y'all ain't met. So I said, no, I don't even know who do this. So I got up, told him, yeah, bro, I'm Ayatollah. He's like, yeah. I said, he said, well, what me and you got to talk about? I said, well, it's some things you said about Buncher from Compton with Mob James. I want to straighten it up with you. He said, okay, we can talk about it when we start this up. So then he sat down and immediately he started going in, you know, like these motherfuckers is characters. So his plan was to get it in and get out.
Get out.
You dig what I'm saying? But then when it came down to it, when he took a breath, and then he seen Melvin go in, like, wait a minute, first of all, nigga, this is some real shit. This is, so now he feel, oh, this is way over my pay grade.
Yeah.
So now he jumps up and I'm out of here. Come on back, bro. Like, man, come on back here, bro. Let's finish this. You can't leave like this.
Fact, because you told him what you was going to be talking about before.
Before that.
And then once the conversation starts, he gets up out of there.
Yeah, and see, he do it so strategically. He don't start off saying nothing about his shit is very limited when it come to Mob James and Buncher Al.
Yeah.
So what he did, he like, okay, I'll run this around. So he started going in on Monster Cody Tookie and what happened with Nipsey Hussle. He started reiterating some shit like, oh, they characters. But you just said you was a shock jock. Don't believe nothing come out your mouth. So when Melvin said, I don't give a fuck about shock jocks, man, were you saying something about me? Well, nigga, you said everything was characters. You don't give a fuck about a character. You looking at the man.
Yeah, boy.
So I mean, it's too.
And let me say this about how it went. Me and Charleston, people forget, if you look at Charleston, everything he said, he was putting my name on it prior to this show. Oh, OG Melvin, OG this, for confirmation.
Yeah.
But then when he started talking about California, people calling me like, hey, man, that's your partner. And that's how that goes.
Right,
so people need to understand that.
Yeah.
Right, but he using me. So when that show happened, he wouldn't have came there if he thought we was coming to do something, which we wasn't. We were still cool at that time.
Yeah.
But when you go to talk about ain't nobody coming from California behind shit where you don't met through me, nigga, I'm the teacher. Mm-hmm. You a pet in this game. And then people get mad when you keep it 1,000, where we step to them because I feel you disrespect. You ain't got it like that. Fort Worth ain't got it like that. No state got it like that when it come to California. We've been known to fight for ours. All through our life we've had struggles. But I promise you, if we unite in this shit, you'll need a passport to come in this shit.
Straight up.
So you better hope.
Hey,
you better hope.
That's why I say, man, it seemed like he got his stripes off of that interview with y'all. Like, that's why I say he planned on talking shit and leaving before y'all said anything, because it seemed like when I look back at it, I was like, this nigga was planning to do this shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? To talk this tough in front of Melvin like that. You feel me? And then, you know, the world would think he was a tougher dude than he really is,
right? Because
he said this in front of such a motherfucker with this much status. You feel me? Mm-hmm. And you know what I'm saying? And I seen that you was shocked, like this nigga just, you know what I'm saying? This nigga just ran off and just left. You feel me?
I didn't understand that neither.
I seen you was looking like, wait a minute, what the fuck, this nigga?
I didn't understand that neither, dog.
I felt like that was a plot. Like, he plotted that, like, you feel me?
I feel like the nigga was just scary, bro. When he finally seen, like, real G's having a conversation with him.
Right.
It seemed like he couldn't really take that heat. Like,
well, what was going to happen was once the talking and the hoopla back and forth, once the talking over with, that's the easy part, the hard part. That's what he do. Can't talk once you through talking. That's over with. Yeah. We can go in the room where 2 men in or 1 man leave, or bring your niggas. That's how it went.
Right.
And let me tell you what happened, and I'm just telling it like it is about a buster, because the only thing a fake nigga waiting on is a real nigga to expose him.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
That's all that they waiting on.
Okay.
When I went outside, the nigga driving, jerking back and forth, because if you leave, nigga, and we see each other, it ain't gonna be nothing to talk about because we ain't got no understanding when you left.
Right.
He came back to me, and all I did was told him, steel sharpen steel, nigga. Tighten up.
Oh, so when he left, he stopped. And
He
then-
didn't leave.
He didn't
kept
leave.
jerking back and forth, looking, but he know if he left, I got too much information on him to where we gonna meet up, but it ain't gonna be nothing to talk about because we left without no understanding.
Exactly.
So he did come back, and I just said steel sharpen steel, and then that was the end of it, and he went on. But we were friends prior to that. Then after that, he started telling lies. See, they don't do fact checks with this guy. They think he a savior and he a rat. I don't know nobody that can say, fuck Martin Luther King, fuck Harriet Tubman, fuck Farrakhan, fuck Malcolm X. If they were white, they wouldn't be allowed on no show. But on these black shows, they'll talk about black. I'm looking at black exploitation by most of these podcasters, to where they ain't talking about nothing positive.
Right.
I don't even talking about serving no community.
Right.
None of them do it.
Right.
But if they really want to make a difference, nigga, use the platforms you got and change the dialogue, nigga, and maybe they'll change the shit that go on in the streets.
Be an example,
That's what they
dog.
should do now. You got the attention, you got a platform, all of them. But change the dialogue, man, and let's move forward and try to unite ourselves as people, blacks. We got a tendency to always want to blame everybody but ourselves. We got to come together first and start showing self-love. We have uniformity, we just don't have unity. I learned that from Farrakhan and them, by the way, doing your teaching, my dear Watson.
Thank
Now,
you.
for
sir.
I
real,
turn the
our
table
worst,
over to you.
We our worst enemy, man. I want to ask a question though. Do you think that nigga be off drugs?
Who? Charleston?
Yeah. Like, you seem like
Now,
he-
this is what I'm going to say. I know he don't, he'll smoke weed all day. That nigga just mentally ill. He's the
Okay.
type that need a helmet. Yeah.
I feel like he really running a character, right? I feel like it's a certain amount of people out there who are intimidated by LA culture and the spread of the gang banging and the cripping and blood and
Well, you guys-
how it's spreading, and I feel like he just trying to just show like some type of opposition to that. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of people that's just on board with the opposition. And
Well, they probably
then by flexing in front of y'all like that, he got credibility.
Right.
By getting up and by talking tough and then leaving like that. I was like, oh wow, this is where he got all this stuff. I looked at.
He looked
I
like
had
a
never.
hoe, though. He looked like a hoe because he
But
left.
then, but see,
But see, you coming from a real nigga perspective,
Right.
you got to think about the
how the world think of shit.
how the other
Yeah,
people
yeah.
out here who done got bullied by somebody that
Yeah,
was from
and-
that was gang
Most
banging.
of the people that follow that have been victims, outcasts on the basically.
Right.
Because ain't no street person. He ain't gonna have no input in the safety, the public safety, none of that shit. He trying to lock people up. We trying to keep people out. It's
Right.
a big opposition.
Right.
And in fact, I don't even
Yeah.
like talking about rats.
I
That
feel
ain't
you.
even, but we will today.
I feel you.
But I don't really even like talking. He's irrelevant to me. I don't even look at the internet about nobody's shit because I know all the players on there, and that would make me where, say Marv and Wack. I know both of them. Can call either one of them, Reggie, all three of them. So I stay out the circle on that about the shit that I don't even look at the internet or anything I do. Never have.
I feel
Straight
you.
up, OG.
I feel you. But it's just interesting how he played that. Like it was like a play.
yeah,
It was like a
see,
play.
you got to understand who Charleston White is. Charleston White was born a loser. This is a nigga that tell you. Say he explains to you he shot his own eye out, right? And he say he had a pencil with a rubber band and he hit his eye, infected his eye. Then he say he went to the circus and he was running after a clown or being a clown and hit a pole and he had to get operations on his eyes. So now he's a handicap.
Damn.
Right? So now he's running with some dudes and a little bitty man. So he ain't the leader of the gang as he would have you believe. And he gets into a situation and he goes to jail. Now he go to jail. Juvenile detention is one of the most savage places that a kid can be.
Gladiator school.
Everybody want to be a man. Everybody
Gladiator
pushing up
school.
on you.
Yeah.
You get to the penitentiary, it's over. You already established.
Right.
But in juvenile hall, from T&V to S&T to
True.
G&H to
True.
C&D,
True.
going to camp, everybody got to prove themselves.
True.
So now this nigga was getting bullied. This how he became a 60 Crip. The big Crips was making him do shit. And he go to protective custody. And when he go to protective custody, a white lady gives him a book. And this book is from a 8-tray gangster named Monster Cody. The book name is Monster. And he gotta be a bad motherfucker because he read it with one eye.
Oh.
Read that motherfucker with one eye and went back. When he got out, he got to telling Texas niggas that ain't never seen California, seen colors and some other shit, and he got to talking about monsters, talking about Huckabuck, got to talking the names they had never heard before. And now he become a big man.
So he say.
So he's
Right,
around
so
here.
he say.
Yeah, so he living in this little bitty world. He makes the pilgrimage to California. Comes to California, now he's a big nigga.
The pilgrimage.
You dig what I'm saying? Now
Caught that.
yeah. So he comes out here, he makes his little intro, did some shit he would have never done without Melvin Farmer.
Facts.
Now he go back to his city and he start criticizing the shit that brought him in. And he goes so big on it because you got a lot of these, the COVID made a whole different introverted kind of person that never, now they can be anything they want to be on a podcast. A lot of these bitch ass niggas before the gang truce, it's some niggas wanted to wear red so bad. It's some niggas wanted to wear blue but they couldn't.
Say that,
and the
Marv.
gang truce, them niggas was in blue all day long.
Say that, Marv.
You go to LA, you don't even know a Crip set. You see a nigga in a red hat and some red shoes.
Yeah, it's
And
like
he
that.
say, cuz. I'm
Yeah,
like, ooh,
yeah,
shit,
yeah,
where the
yeah,
fuck
yeah.
am I?
That's
If
true.
you don't know your terrain.
Uh-huh.
But it's never been in our life about color.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was about status, who in the fuck you were,
Respect.
and where in the fuck you came from. You feel what I'm saying? Now you got these closet queers
Yeah.
that come out and they make all these statements. This old man, like I just told dude, man, they say you the oldest Pyru in the world. Yes. Or nigga, 72 years old, why you still banging? The army, how many 20-year-old generals you ever seen? Somebody got to lead the army, huh?
You 72, Marv?
Yeah.
Damn, you don't look 72 though.
What 72 look like? I masturbate, I don't eat pussy.
Oh, shit.
You don't look 72 though, man. Shout out to that. Shout out to the preservation, man. Yeah. Shout out to the preservation, man.
So we have to understand what our organization is. And see, our black people, we're the only race of people where the elders criticize their children. You don't hear old Mexicans criticizing their lokes. You don't hear Peckerwoods messing with their young Ku Klux Klan and their John Burke Society. These handkerchief niggas is always talking down, but they ain't left y'all nothing.
Facts.
What if you? I grew up in Compton. I was born on Nightmare on Elm Street. We ran Freddy Krueger out of Compton.
Nigga.
We was the first black city west of the Mississippis. We ran shit. 1973. Compton was called Murder Capital of the World because it was black run. All the people was not killed in Compton, but they was found in Compton.
Okay.
In San Quentin, 1973, we had 189 stabbings and 12 killings without a gun. Murder capital of the world. You understand? Every day it was getting busy.
was a
You dig what I'm
different
saying?
time, boy.
Having to go through this. And so you get these dudes, these people come. We done had 14 mayors, black mayors in the city of Compton since 1970. And we don't even have a Martin Luther King.
God damn.
Hey man, I wanted to make a statement though, like, you know, when I first moved to the hood, to the Nella over there, it was 76. That was my first time experience the Nella right there, right? And I was coming out here from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
I stayed in Milwaukee.
Okay, so you understand.
Stayed on North 20th in the Highland Park Project.
Oh, okay. So you was off in the. Okay, I feel you. I feel you. I was off like Capitol. Like you familiar with Capitol? Yeah.
Small world, man.
So I came from Milwaukee to out here, and one thing that stuck in my mind when I touched down and went to the park in the summertime is how violent it was out here when I was that small. How niggas was getting knocked out. I had never seen niggas getting knocked out and robbed and shit like that in broad daylight. And then the same niggas was coming back the next day doing it to different niggas.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? And I was always shocked at how violent it was out here. Like, I was just like, damn, man, this is another.
You're talking about an era, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76. What most people don't know about out here, I'm speaking on Los Angeles.
Right.
But most inner city parks and recreations are controlled by those in that area.
Right.
And whatever gang, St. Andrews Park, A-Tray, Van Ness Park, Van Ness Boys, Harvard Park, Brims. This is on the west side.
Right.
Hoover, Manchester Park, Hoover, Sportsman Park, the Hundreds. So it was a lot of violence there back in the 60s, and people don't realize, that's what we was discussing earlier, about how you can get into the game when the rap and shit come out to where you can have a tattoo, dress like you a Crip, image and acting like you're a Crip or Blood or a gang member, and be looked at as a gang member.
Right.
To whereas when you came out there, it wasn't no faking about you being in no gang, because you're a criminal gang. That separates a street gang from a prison gang for the youths. You could have 10 people with swings. You're a bike club. But when you got youths between the ages of 12 and 24 that are committing criminal acts on a consistent basis with uniformity, where they throwing signs, wearing colors, got slogans, tagging, that is a street gang. The same thing as with young Gun and them.
Yeah.
But they just got the RICO Act.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
they wasn't going across state lines. It was local criminal. So when you came out in 76, it was a whole very, very, very violent, because they really were just starting to charge juveniles with, say, carjacking, which didn't have a term, being tried as an adult that didn't start till about 1975.
Damn.
Because of the violence that had occurred prior to then. So people don't know how violent that gang atmosphere was, particularly when this ain't driving on cars. You got to meet at school. There's no color, but you all dressed the same. It was very close contact and very physical back then.
Yeah, I came up with Big Zoe. You know, Zoe told me to call you too. He hit me up the other day and was like, "You gotta get at Marv and have him on there."
Okay.
Cold part.
And then he called you. Then he called you.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to back up real quick, Marv. Do you think people was mad that you said you the oldest power root because Babalu age and era and all that? You think
Babalu them younger than me.
Okay, so
You understand?
for the record to be straight,
ain't
you
no-
literally are
I'm
the
not,
oldest.
the only one older than me, and he ain't active, and that's Big Ace. That's Harold Bowen from
Okay.
Pyru Street.
Okay.
He's 76, but he ain't in the street every day. And Baba Louie is Baba Louie is 60.
Bobby
68.
Louis be about 69.
68,
Okay.
60. He just
69.
turned-
So that
he just turned
generation is
68.
younger than you. You
Yeah.
been doing this shit.
Been doing this.
Yeah,
You understand me? So like, can't nobody take being old from me. You understand me? And I was banging before banging was banging. You understand? I grew up. Our whole neighborhood was treetops. Street, Magnolia. Our street was named after trees. So 1959. My relative told me we treetops because we was the blackjack gang. You're like, nah, nigga, y'all treetops. I'm like, shit, that sounds okay. So we've been pushing that line,
And it's crazy how shit to this
And
day
so,
is like, damn.
So Tony Lane was born next door to my mother's house on Elm Street. So when he caught his case and went to YA, and Bonnie and his dad, Ernest, they moved across canal on Spruce. So when he got out, everybody on that side of the canal, they was Hickory Crips, and you had Big H, Howard. They all claimed Luders Park. Terry Tarzan claimed the West Side because they all went to Dominguez High School.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that too.
On that side. So when Tony gets out of YA, that side is over there confused. So he made them treetops, and my brother then became cedar blocks. Michael Roselle, Lawrence Pittman, my brother Henry, Cedar Rat. Because Reggie had like 5 sisters. Everybody fucking with their sisters. Since you know, on our side, every other street's a dead end. So if you come up Elm Street and make a right, you make a right, you go turn that and think you go into Poplar, you're in a dead end.
Yeah, you
if
stuck,
you make
nigga.
a left, if you make a left, you don't know what streets to go in. That's why, man, you can never hear a LA Crip saying he came and made no moves in Compton. Because he don't know the area.
Right. That's
Yeah,
just like
it's
us.
complicated.
It's like us. We go to LA. We don't really know the
Don't
area.
know the
as
area.
well.
You understand?
I want to ask you too. So, the first Piru hoods, right? I heard like on the west side it was West Side Piru, and then on the east side it was Ludus.
Ludus first, right?
Okay, Ludus and West Side, and then after that it came along to you saying the trees.
We always been the treetops, and
Okay.
then when it was the trees, then before that, Fruitown used to be where Davis is.
Yeah.
All those houses over there. Why it was called Fruitown, because the Mexicans that lived over there, where the factories are, that was strawberry patches, cabbage fields, and when they do their work, they would take the vegetables and bring it back to their house, and they would sell them out of their house on Elm Street, Cedar Street, and Spruce, where Davis and Dickerson Elementary, that whole, so that they call that Fruitown.
Right.
The first Fruitown originally, Ernest, Tony Lane's father, they was Lazy Loafers.
Okay.
They went from Lazy Loafers. Then you got
that was the name of a clique, Lazy Loafers.
that was the Lazy Loafers where Fruitown was.
Okay.
So it went from Lazy Loafers to Reggie Holland and Larry Cheeks, Zomar and Chucky McNeil. They became the Bliss Boys from Bliss Street.
Okay.
Right? So all we growing up in the 60s, they was the Bliss Boys, we was Treetops. Then you had the Swamps. And you had Front Hood. You know, the front always been the front. So then after Piru Street cranked up, it was the west side putting them in Piru Street. Then they went over to Fruitown and Treetops. Everything lined up over there. Then the Nellas came, and Baba Louie went over to a dance in Luders Park at the school, at the gym at Luders Park.
Okay.
When they had never seen pudding before in their life, and they thought Baba Louie was pudding. You understand what I mean? So he's over there with the girls. He kicking it and pop locking and doing his shit.
Know what they do?
You understand me? And so bam, he come back and go tell Lil Vince. And him and Lil Vince, now I ain't gonna tell putting him because there's too many girls over here.
Right. We're using your name.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So they push up. So bam, he meets Marcus. Him and China Dog get together and Fire and all of them little dudes. He start telling them this and this and that. OG Fish, Elliot Ness, all of them. They was all Luders Parks.
Yeah.
So then Luders start hanging out, and then all of that was Luders Park. Hollywood was Pan-Ass Gangster Crips. Marcus and them went in there, and because the difference with us and everybody else, this was, we had Piru love. Niggas didn't start messing with Pirus because we jumped them. We took care of people. And they like, oh shit, we like them better than
Some
we
real
like.
niggas,
You know,
yeah.
like fuck that. It ain't many of them, but they down. And we want to be down. So the mob started getting there. It was Linwood Crips first.
Okay, let me ask you something. That drive-in that used to be over there, did y'all used to have issues up there at that drive-in?
No.
It used to be cool.
Yeah. You know, by the time the Compton drive-in closed, I mean, the gangbanging had started.
Right.
But it wasn't to a point. It was, actually, you couldn't really get from the 70s, like you was talking about 76 and this and that, you couldn't get a Compton Crip to go to Compton Drive-In.
Okay.
It's an ambush.
I feel you. That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
What did y'all have clashes up there?
It was clashes. So main clashes, they used to have the Vermont Drive-In.
Right.
Vermont. And so that's mainly where you had a clash at.
Right.
I went to see giving him something you can feel. What was the name of that? Sparkle. Is that the name of it?
Back in the day?
Yeah, back in the day. I got out of prison in '76. I went to see that movie 3 times and never seen it yet.
Oh. Read between the lines, niggas. Yeah.
3 goddamn times. There's confusion up in that drive.
I feel you. I feel you.
So look, to do the OG, since everything was treetop over there, so do the OGs from treetops and fruit still fuck with each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we are, but this
the bullshit is some young nigga shit, basically.
it's some shit that happened. It first started with Rick James and the incident. Then I can understand when dudes keep getting losses and don't nothing happen. You feel what I'm saying? We just can't keep going on like this. I understand they pain. You dig what I'm saying?
Straight up. Yeah.
So, but you got some dudes that are beefing with each other that ain't but 20. This happened. This war been like 40 years ago.
Right.
And you just on some shit just because somebody told you.
Yeah, they following.
And we got family on both sides.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
You know what I'm saying? So here you got these folks here that it's your relative that y'all's grabbing against, and both of y'all supposed to be Pyrus.
Yeah.
But you ain't doing nothing with these T-flats. You're not doing nothing with these B-13s. They running amok in Compton. And you running on each other.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
You know?
Yeah.
Palmer Block damn near is wiped off the map. Where Magnolia was, they got fuck nigga signs up there.
Dang.
T-flats and took over. Ain't nobody going to try to rescue them, huh? 151 damn near took over by Vadio Thresi. Ain't nobody here. Oh, they kick. Oh, man, them niggas couldn't hold their hood. Nigga, them is Pyrus.
Right.
You should be on everything until the Pyru life is back stable.
Fact, that's how it's supposed to go.
You understand me? If you got a problem, I got one too. Because once you gone, it's me.
Yep.
You know? That's in the penitentiary. They started that segregation shit in 79, 80. In San Quentin, you got a whole East Block. All Crips, all gang members that don't get along with each other. We got 5 different yards. BGF and Bloods, we on one yard. We at North Block segregation. Crips gonna tear our asses up if we get anywhere close. You dig what I'm saying? Melvin's crew, 8 trays and 60s don't get along. Shotguns call themselves anybody killers.
Out there in Gardena, yeah.
You know, so then you have this. But the Mexicans and the whites, Aryan Brotherhood and the Mexican Mafia, they on the same yard.
Yeah.
And they identifying all of us.
What? And they ain't beefing. The
No,
Mexicans.
hell no.
No, that's one thing about Mexicans.
They was beefing. That's just like
They won't beef in jail though.
they put green lights on blocks.
Yeah.
Whatever our beef is, let's get rid of them first.
Yeah. And they could tell on us too. And it's
Man, it's good. Cool. Yeah, that ain't telling.
Yeah.
You tell on a Mayate, that's cool.
Yeah.
They was trying to refute that.
Yeah.
They was trying to. I heard.
Who was?
It's still good right now.
What? That they were telling, or that it was a green light on the black?
That they would tell.
Man, let me show
That's
you a
still
case.
strong,
let me show you a case.
That's still strong.
One of the brothers in the nation with me. You know Captain Will? Captain Will's
I heard of him. Yeah.
Will, they go and make a move on these Mexicans that got all this dope, right?
Yeah.
They take like 30 pounds of cocaine from them, $120,000. These donkey riders call the police and tell the police they took our dope and our money.
Wow.
And they kidnapped us and testified and got them niggas life in prison.
Okay.
God.
I stand corrected on what I heard. I stand corrected.
And them was some B-13 Mexicans. They look at them dudes right there, the 4 dudes that was involved in that, they OG, they top on the list for getting rid of 5 niggas.
Wow. You know they be having these podcasts where they do like prison conversation. You know, it's a lot of Mexican gangsters that went to the pen and got out, and now they got podcasts, and they be talking about all this type of shit. And they was trying to say that they wasn't doing that, like telling, you know, because niggas was like, hey man, y'all be telling, y'all say it's okay to tell. What's his name? BG Knockout said that. He was like, it's okay for them to snitch on us.
I'm glad
you know, we don't condone no snitching on no level. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Not even on enemies. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's alive and living color, and they had a code like that.
Wow.
I mean, it was. I done seen Mexican mafia, a motherfucker kill his own brother because of a snitch jacket. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they held their code, but when that shit flipped over and Joe Morgan told them, man, y'all got to start in this young Mexican boxer from 18th Street, he started pushing the line, bruh. It was like, okay, cool. We running this. Whichever way we have to do to get rid of them, we going to get rid of them. We got to tell them they got a knife in the cell.
Wow.
Man, I done seen shit like that. Man, I done been in the apartments and, you know what I mean, seen some Mexicans run through the park after doing a crime. Police pull up on them and they point to the apartments like, nah, they in there. And it was really them.
Oh,
And the police come over there and tear us up, and you know what I mean, and jacking everybody up and all that shit. One of the homies went to jail, had a strap on him and shit, so... That shit get wicked, man.
Wow.
That shit get wicked.
Damn.
It's true shit, bro.
So okay, with black unity, man, what do you think the problem is? Because like when we go to the penitentiary, we gotta work together, right?
Definitely.
We used to. Not now. Every man for himself.
Damn, it's like that right now, Marv.
Right there, right now. They say anybody that controls the ghetto controls prison.
Uh-huh.
I got a son and my nephew, they in prison right now. Them niggas gotta ask a Mexican or a white boy or a homosexual to get bed moved. They have no, when I was in prison, blacks ran everything.
Hell yeah.
Now we don't run nothing. Niggas got jobs on the yard crew, dorm maintenance, all administrative job Mexicans and whites got. The only nigga that got a hell of an administrative job is a homosexual.
Damn. And we gotta go through that, nigga, just to get some shit done.
And he ain't gonna do nothing but for white boys and Mexicans.
Boy, we got it bad. We need to wake the fuck up, homie.
Man.
We need to wake the fuck up and realize who the real enemy.
See, we believe we free. You think because a motherfucker gave you a couple $100,000 and you still rolling around in the same carousel, you ain't been, we got some homies that's rich. Yeah. It ain't been north of Wilshire.
Right.
Blood, what's over there? Oh no, Blood Marvel, why you stay way out there? You know?
So, living life,
So
motherfucker.
it's bigger than, my whole life was Compton one time.
Right.
And I found out that 10 square miles wasn't enough.
Right.
And I started going to different states and seeing different cultures and like, whoa, shit. Mm-hmm. They, you know, like we're so impressed with ourselves. That's why California is so backwards. We're so impressed with ourselves. You tell a nigga in Mississippi that he's slow, right? Or them niggas back there are slow. How is he slow when he wake up 2 hours before you?
I know, that's a good one.
Nice and common sense right there.
You know, so
yeah,
we take shit for granted. We was talking at Boss Talk, we was there the other day, and it was the identifying of gangs, right? In the South, it's a certain dress quorum. And it's an old saying, say, when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Right.
So the first gang members went back to the South. All of these niggas had khaki suits on, right? To the South, ain't nobody wear a khaki suit but a janitor. Mm-hmm. So you got a khaki suit on and some chucks. You look like an alien. Who in the fuck is these niggas?
Facts.
So we don't come in blending in. We come in taking over. And motherfuckers, in the South, they got one or two things. They either gonna kill you or they will tell the police.
Yeah.
He ain't from here.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Yeah.
Y'all go get him.
Yeah, we stick out like a sore thumb out there, man.
So we have to, in unity, we have to understand. Right now, when our numbers was low, Pyru was powerful. Now we done got all of these numbers, and ain't nobody loyal.
No, it's not.
You know,
It's not.
in the Bible, this man Gideon, right? He started off a war. God told him to go to this war, and he started off with 10,000 men. And God told him there's too many. He broke him down to 5,000. By the end of it, Gideon didn't have but 300 men. That's why you hear that movie, The 300. That comes out the Bible, right?
Yeah.
And then when he went in, and the 300, because there was 300 loyal.
Soldiers.
Their life and their death was all for what their cause was. Everybody else is bullshitting. The first 5,000 that ran off, they say they went to the giants and told the giants, like, hey, this nigga Gideon coming. So after Gideon killed and took over, they say the first 5,000, we was waiting for you. Man, we glad you here, homie. We was just getting ready. And Gideon killed them too.
Straight up.
So,
Straight
you know,
the
people
fuck
talk
up.
about us killing each other, 60 years of killing. Well, that's just target practice. Because the Crusades, Peckerwoods killed Peckerwoods for 300 years. The Civil War was 40 years of Peckerwoods. So, damn, we ain't did nothing to what they're doing. But once we start waking up and seeing who the real enemy is, man, this young crew here, woo, right now y'all grown savage. All you got to do as a general, I'm going to show you who to attack.
Real shit, real shit. And speaking of unity, Melvin showed me a picture of, you know, him with some 60s and some Hoovers way before, you know, the Nipsey situation happened in 2016. You want to speak on that about how?
Yeah, we had. I was with doing prison ministry with a church, River of Life Ministry, ran by Reverend Rodney Buckler and his wife, and Big U's a member. It's basically the Rolling 60s are there. Big U cousins, Mark Bolden. It's a sanctuary though, to where all us that grew up together, that might have been West Side Crips, or just basically it was a line of 60s there. But I'm from A Trey, so I'm telling them, man, I can't be a member of this church, and then I'm coming in here on Sundays or whatever, and now y'all at war where 8 Trays is still shooting and 60s is worn, and I'm sitting in the middle where I'm already looking at people who have been affected from 8 Trays or allies. So I tell them, man, we're going to have to start talking about something to try to close this gap, because I can't be sitting in here as a member of the church and the congregation out on the streets are fighting. Feuding.
Yeah.
So one of the Rolling 60s had got killed on their hood night, shot 7 or 8 times. So I say, well, why don't we put a town hall meeting together. That's what it was, a town hall meeting. We had Melanie Molina, Black Lives Matter, we had Big U, we had Mad Bone, we had Tone, we had Mark Bolden, we had Tony Stacy from Hoover. And so that kind of like, that kind of like was the first time, particularly on the internet, because you very seldom see 8 Trays or the 60s prior to Nipsey's death ever been together, because the war's still going. So then I talked to Big U and I said, you know, Nipsey and Lil Sodi, it'd be nice if they could do a collaboration together and maybe bring some dialogue amongst the youngsters where they would respect it. You know, this their age category.
Exactly.
So I talked to Big U, and he had said we could make it happen, and then I told her Lil Sodi and other things happened. So from there, dialogue had started to come in, because then I started hanging with a guy named Pete Winbutch, who's top on the charts when it come to the bloodline of there. And we just had been talking, and then when the Nipsey Hussle incident happened and LA Gangs Unite, there already had been dialogue, and that just basically created an opportunity to where guys that hadn't been over there in 40 years, even though it's right across the tracks on the west side, the first time A-Trays had been on Slauson and Crenshaw in a capacity to where they wanted to pay their respects, which we all did on the west side after all said and done. He's from our side of the tracks. Our side, he's a west side of Ice Cube, so they wanted to pay their respects behind that, and that just opened the door.
Yeah, I want to speak on that because when Nip passed away, it was, the 60s and the A-Trays. They did a walk or whatever.
Not just the 60s and the A-Trays.
Yeah.
You had quite a few
Right.
west side affiliates, friends or foes. I was getting called, say, like affiliates against the Crips, trade. Hey, homie, is it a setup? Is it cool? No, come on through, homie. I'll be there. Or they calling. So it wasn't just a A-Tray.
Right.
It was basically the rolling 60s, the in-hood car. Then you had the gangsters car, and you had a collaboration of more than just A-Trays in the 60s. That was the headliner. But the body of it was a lot of guys come from the east side. Guys came from Compton, Watts, Long Beach, all over. So it wasn't just a A-Tray 60 thing. You had intervention workers, you had the Nation of Islam, you had all type of people that's from all walks, Save Our Sons, Murdered for Justice Children.
Second Call.
Second Call, Final Call, the Grids that works with the mayors. Everybody came out. And in fact, for 30 days on the west side, after that, there was not one murder or gunshot, because I had a show called The Sounds of the Streets, where I can hear the birds chirping, the sound of the helicopters, the ambulance, and I can hear the sound when this shit going on. But it was peaceful. You wake up on the west side, but we didn't get the sustainability where the local elected officials, they should have stepped forward to try to create some type of sustainability with the dialogue going. But what they did, they let 30 days lapse, and then soon as the first murder happened, which a lot of times they'll blame on gangs when they're really isolated incidents, dick and pussy, or some drug deal, but a lot of times they'll throw it off as gang activity when it's really not. It's an isolated incident. And soon as that murder happened, that was an isolated incident, all the papers and the newspapers and the politicians, back to this, and they started talking about it and publicizing it. And you have to really understand, when you're dealing with propaganda, the power of propaganda, when it's one-sided, when you got a black newspaper where you got two candidates running for elected official in that district, but they only show one. You'll never hear about the other one. Just like these podcasters, you'll hear one-sidedness.
Right.
But you don't hear the other side of us. We've been talking about the work we do, but all I hear on this shit on the internet is static.
Right.
But we don't hear nothing about nobody doing nothing.
Right.
That's what we challenge them to. Match up to what you doing to give back, instead of all this lip boxing, tongue wrestling, and verbal gymnastics. Step to the mic and let's see what we doing in the communities, man.
And that was the point I was trying to make, that you had been putting in the work. It wasn't you showed me that picture from 2016. I don't know really when you started putting in the work, but the point was,
I've been putting in doing civil rights since 1997, where I've been in numerous, not just, I deal in murder. That's my number one forte, but it's murder, whether it be by friend, family, foe, or even those that serve and protect us.
Straight
I
up.
done did murders of Amadou Diallo in New York, Prince Jones, the Howard University student in Washington, D.C., Sharice Iverson, the little girl killed at the hotel in Vegas. Taisha Miller, the girl 19 years old that was shot 19 times in Riverside. Margaret Laverne Mitchell, the homeless lady that was shot over a shopping cart. The Harlem Globetrotters, original owners, a woman and a man that was stabbed to death by a former inmate. Mayor Parks' granddaughter that got killed at Church's Chicken. I can go on and on. These are high-profile cases that we done. We do civil rights. We do innocent projects. This civil rights stuff I've been involved in, particularly activism. Community activism. We part of Credible Messengers that work with mayors all around the United States. We mentor youth. We do restorative justice. We address crime, where we believe education over incarceration. So it's a lot we do, but that's not the glamorous lights. We got our boots to the ground when the camera's not around.
I feel you.
And that's why I wanted to make the point of that you've been working before that Nipsey situation and they had the march, because a lot of people thought that the dialogue of them two hoods, whoever else was involved with it, had just started then, but it did not.
No, it started back in 2016 as far as them. But when the war started in 1980, not 79, that's when Tyrone got killed. They wasn't feuding at the end, but 79 was a pivotal year as far as the Crips, and particularly the West Side. Raymond Washington got killed that year, Tookie got arrested that year, and we started being at an age where the West Side, East Side Crips on our side. In fact, everybody that were juveniles when we were starting out, now we getting at an age, now when we get caught, we not coming right back. You're doing 5, 10 years, and that created a gap on the West Side to where the next underscore that come up, but they didn't come up with the same guidance and the same rules and regulations that started coming. And plus, to go a real thing, most of them starting in 1980 came in Crip on Crip. We didn't come. See, that's a big difference.
Can I make observation? Did the killing really started in like 79, 80? They was killing before that.
Well, this game in 72, 71, the West Side Crips, East Side Crips, and Compton Crips were together. There was no sets. That was predicated when you was getting 2 to 4 years for a murder. They started killing in 1972 when the Robert Ballou murder happened, which Justin Baycott, Sam Cunningham, Ricardo Sims, Eric Williams, all these guys had killed Robert Ballou, which was a prominent son of an attorney back then. That's over the leather coats. Then after that, Michael Conception them killed Mayor Butts, the mayor of Inglewood. Douglas Green got killed on the West Side. Then a murder, and that's when the murders started taking place on the West Side as far as being attributed to Crips and Bloods, because unlike Compton that has a long history, we're from the West Side to where we had cliques. We didn't have guys that were 20 years old hanging in the streets because we are integrating. It's whites over there. You can see Tookie at 17 or 15. I'm 13, and you can see whites down playing bowling, croquet at the end. It was integration. They had, at the most, high school kids involved. But other than that, they were junior highs. You had the Smacks, you had the Cafe Boys, you had the Outlaws at Fauché. So our makeup's not the same as the East Side, Compton, Watts, to where they've had Slausons. On the West Side, they had cliques. And the first gangs over there were basically Crips, or the Inglewood family, which were Chain Gang, the Van Ness Boys, the Underground Block, Watergate, Rolling 60s, 111, 5'9" Brims, Terry Cadeau, Treetop, Jimmy Celestine, all these heavy hitters was over there back then. Karate Family, Reggie and Shaft, all these type of guys. So on the West Side, we didn't have a history of powerful. We had cliques, because most of the West Side, when the Crips started, Tookie them was 18, 17, but the ones up under them, we all 14 at that time, 1971. So we were 14. And then you had the Inglewood Crips, which were part of the West Side, but they were into themselves, where we all was together, which was Michael Christian, Kenny Robinson, and all them type of guys, Tarzan, and the guys out there. But they were also part of the West Side Crips. So our bloodline and heritage is a little bit different than those that had a history of having gangs in the 50s and all that. On the West Side, it was still basically white when I moved over there.
Okay, another observation. Did the death of Elijah Muhammad have an effect on the gang violence as far as people dropping out the nation after he died?
Marv can answer that.
No,
You don't think so?
at all.
Oh,
None,
okay.
because
That was the whole. The split after the Honorable Elijah Muhammad passed in 74, 75, 74, and Minister Farrakhan was supposed to take the position, but the position was given to Wallace, his younger son.
Right.
And it became a coup with hypocrisy. And the hypocrites started the Bilanians that went over into Orthodox Islam, and that broke up the nation.
Right.
It broke up the nation for a minute. And then Minister Farrakhan came and stepped back out in 1979. And it's been going on. But after COINTELPRO was a operation by J. Edgar Hoover to dismantle all black organizations, the Black Panther, Kawahida, Malcolm X Foundation, to separate them. And he said we will not have a black messiah. So in the 70s, they came up with this record, it's your thing, do what you want to do. So blacks became, before we knew who we were, and our only opposition was the white man. We knew who he was. So then, in him plotting, he made a new Negro in the 1970s, right? You had the middle class Negro. So the middle class Negro looked down on the lower class Negro. So it's not niggas against niggas, huh? Right. So it changed the whole perception of what we was about.
Right.
So we had, in the 50s and the 60s, all the families came to the South and stayed at your mama house until they got on their feet. Everybody passed. Mexicans ain't doing nothing but what they saw us do. You dig what I'm saying? So then in the 70s, we used to all write on Savior's Day, and right now with the Nation of Islam, I got a problem with going to Chicago, and you supposed to be a black organization, black run, black self-predicated, but we go and spend hundreds of $1,000s on Savior's Day to the Westin, the Sheraton Hotel, pay for these flying transportation. Niggas from the West Coast used to get in cars and drive to Chicago when Honorable Elijah Muhammad was alive, and stayed at black hotels or stayed with black families. Now we rent everything from white folks, right? I seen a post on Facebook, and this dude said that black people don't want to be free. We just want white people to like us.
Man.
And let me say a little bit about the mindset, where you have to understand that Marv, when he's talking, Marv come through a military or struggle to where it was the police, fuck the police, and they was in a power struggle where they didn't have civil rights. So he could recognize, say, when the tanks and the fighting, because he's at an age to where he's participating. But now in 71, when we 14, 15, 16, I seen the riots in what's that, Marv, 65, 64?
65.
I'm staying on 83rd and Hoover by the Hedgemon Gym or whatever, where Hedgemon Lewis, the Hoover Street Gym. But I'm seeing the trucks, but I'm not comprehending what's going on. All I'm worried about is seeing these stores open to where I can get a tetherball for my sister, me a little golf club.
Right.
So I'm not recognizing what I'm seeing, what it's about.
Right.
So now when I get 14, 15, 16, we doing our own thing, but we're not in tune with, we're not thinking about the Black Panthers, Malcolm, because we're not at that level. But later on, as you get older in life, you start to analyze and say and figure it out on what you realize what you're saying. So when you hear us speak, you'll hear Marvin speaking from somewhat of an older standpoint.
I'm noticing
when
that.
we in 71, Marv, I'm 14. That means Marv would be 19. So our mindsets aren't the same,
I'm noticing
and our
that.
thoughts aren't the same.
Yeah.
So when he go to that, when you ask me about Wali Muhammad and his death, it didn't mean nothing to us.
Right. See, the reason why I brought that up is because the apartment complex that I moved in, you know, the across the street from Campanella Park, the apartments.
Yeah.
That was ran by Muslims in
G-Weed
'76.
Pops. G-Weed Pops.
Yeah.
Not as Pops. It was different. It was they was living in there,
Uh-huh.
but it was somebody else that was the manager. But it was like dominated by Muslim families. You understand? It was like a stronghold for Muslim. It was like a stronghold for the Nation of Islam back then, bro.
No, it wasn't, because the Nation of Islam wasn't even up in '76. The Nation of Islam failed in 1975. And
Okay.
we didn't come back into the Nation of Islam until 1979. We didn't start NOI security until the 80s.
Okay.
So I don't know who was there.
But it was like a lot of Muslim families,
Yeah,
right? You know,
yeah.
where they was going
uh,
to school in the summer,
Yeah,
everybody
that
dressing
was-
in
that-
black.
Yeah, that was Charles Hall, Zachary Hall, all out of the swamp. They were in the Nation from the beginning. They made Mars 54.
Right.
But they came into economical jihad. That's what they were, Orthodox Muslims. So yeah, they were in the apartments at that time.
Oh, okay.
the swamps?
They all Charles Hall, Pocky, Vernon Hall.
That's Vernon Hall, V's brother,
Yeah,
VGF. Charles Hall and V Hall. Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
They was all in the Nation. They got into the Nation in 1969, 70. They started Mars 54 in like 70, 71, right? So they where the Orthodox, the optimal school is on Palmer and Poinsettia,
Okay.
right next to the fire station.
Okay.
That was the original Mars 54 back in the day.
Oh, that was a mosque. Before that was the fire station.
Before the fire station was there, the building right next to where the school is, that was Mars 54.
Okay.
That's how Captain Leroy and they all started Mars 54. He got out of, he left San Quentin with me in '74, and he came out because we was all in Mars 42 in Long Beach from the '60s on, and so they established Mars 54. And then when the Nation fell, the brothers that he talked about got their own band, and they started doing what Orthodox Islam called economical jihad.
Nigga, the experience in this motherfucking room. Nigga, I love it. It's crazy. And I wanted to ask Melvin, okay, you was saying like how it was a lot of cliques and shit back in the day. So those cliques turned into gangs depending on, they would turn into, or say if like it was a clique in the A-Trade.
No, you talking before A-Trade. There was no.
No. I'm
okay.
saying they was cliques first, but when gang banging came around, depending on what area they stayed in, they just turned to that gang.
This how it went on the West Side. You had the West Side Crips that had really got into it before they were Crips with Big Bob and them, as the story told to me. In fact, I got it on video. And once Tookie had went to Factor Brookings, that's the article that you'll see in the newspaper where you see them all standing. That's when those pictures was taken. That was summer 1972. So
damn.
Tookie ended up starting after he was in Bob Simmons and Fred Shaw Boys Home. They started Tookie, a lot of people didn't know, was working for Juvenile Hall starting in about, 73 or something more?
He worked for the juvenile hall.
Yeah, he was running boys' homes in Compton on Ponderosa
Damn.
and Pine. That's where he got shot at back then. So a lot of people don't know. Tookie had changed his life, and Tookie and Jamel were running boys' homes in Compton back then.
Yeah.
So once Tookie moved to Compton, now the West Side broke up. Tookie was the face. Tookie the face of most Crips.
He was a leader,
Tookie from the
basically.
West Side, Raymond Washington, who went to jail early in the game, so he wasn't mentioned a lot early back then, because they didn't give Raymond Washington, the breaks in jail that they gave Tookie. Then you had James Compton, Moto, Marcellus, and these were the guys in Compton because they were CC Riders, Compton Crips.
Right.
So now we on the west side in Monk, Melvin Hardy, all these Warlock, all these guys. So Monk started, which was the United Underground. That come off a Curtis Mayfield song called The Underground. That's how a lot of the West Side gangs were named after songs. Payback, Watergate, The Underground. So a lot of the songs were made by the Inglewood family when they went from Chain Gang off of Smokey Robinson family song. So a lot of the gangs were made after songs. So you got United Underground, then came Block, then came Watergate, 111 O'Neal Brown, Payback, Payback, Gangsta Crip. Over there at that time, we wasn't A-Trey. Gangsta Crips started off when we started as Gangsta Crips when we founded them. Because I don't broke from the west side after I don't got out of juvenile hall, and I'm in the hundreds, and I see, hey, it looks like Monk in the hundreds, whoever doing it, they calling shots.
Yeah.
But I'm not out of there, and we doing just as much damage as anybody. So I'm off 83rd. So me, Frog, and we going from the west side to where we Gangster Crips and those, and then Rayford Sidewinder, Hunchy, and that's when the Gangster Crips started formulating. Then we hooked up with Hoover because we didn't understand why the hundreds, which never got along with Hoover, we didn't understand why y'all, these are Crips, why y'all getting at them? Because at this time, you got a trifecta. You got the Rolling 60s, the Hoovers, and the A-Trey Gangsters. We're together at this time.
Okay, y'all was together before all the bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, before the murder happened. Up to then, it was Hoover Gangsters and the Rolling 60s. But the hundreds, the underground and all those, they didn't get along with the Hoovers.
So when you say the Hoovers, you mean like the
7-4 A-Trey, 7-4 A-Tray, 9 Deuce, and 107. Those are the first ones that come down there.
Before the 5 Deuce, basically.
Then 5 Deuce and them come. That's from a break off. But the first original ones off the break was 7-4 A-Tray, 9 Deuce, and 107. Then 111 and so forth and so forth.
They didn't have the 80s yet in the Hoovers?
Yeah, you got 7-4 A-Tray.
They was first Hoover Groovers.
Hoover Groovers, but they 7-4 A-Tray, 9 Deuce, and 107.
Okay.
Those were, we A-Tray. You got 4 Tray. You got the Rolling 60s. You got 111. You got 107. We're named, you got the Harlem 30s, the 40s. We go by the areas, Van Ness
the streets.
The streets.
Yeah.
That's why they named after the street. 9 O's. The hundreds, because every 10 blocks on the west side in any direction, you're not going to be able to walk freely as a black man.
Hell no.
But that's wrong, though.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Definitely.
That's wrong.
Yeah, that's shit fucked
Especially
up.
when you know the damage that was done. Why following our footsteps when we telling you you're going to end up too old to work or too young for Social Security fucking around in this game, man? It wasn't worth it.
Right.
That's what we try to tell you. You can be a brand now. The Crips and Bloods are a brand.
So they another thing they tried to say, like at first the gangs was kind of like communities that kind of like helped the community, and then somehow it turned to, is that true or is that's not?
Well, it depends. The Crips lack structure.
Okay.
It ain't like they gangster disciples where they passing out lunches and all this.
So they didn't start off to protect the community.
Well, I ain't gonna say Raymond Washington and them on the east side, because they were older. Don't forget, we 14, 15. So their mentality might have been about helping the community or
but they
whatever.
never did.
But they never did. Now,
because see, he's saying the first media murder was 1972 with Ricky Ricardo and the Baloo at the first Crip killing when they was on 41st and Central at Taco Pete's. And they took a waistline leather coat from a dude from the Pueblo Bishops. And that was the first mass murder. You dig what I'm saying? That they beat a kid to death, you know? And so that started, and that's what got the influence now. And then it started perpetrating and getting big. And so they started off, they never helped the community. They started off taking people's leather coats, taking shoes, taking.
They're a criminal gang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's the difference.
like Melvin said, they were young and they were not knowledge. The same shoes you took from him, you could have went downtown and 7 of y'all could have got brand new shoes.
Yeah.
But we don't look at it like that.
Right,
You
right,
dig
right,
on?
right.
We eat off each other.
Facts.
When it's easier to take from a white man because he got insurance. You come in my house, I'm gonna kill you.
Straight
You,
up.
you feel what I'm saying? So we don't. This is why rehabilitation is me taking you out of one position and putting you in a better position.
Uh-huh.
So when I go to prison, I used to wonder why. I grew up, man, believing I lived in Mayberry. Never went to the refrigerator. There was no food there. My mother was a college graduate. I had my own room. I hated white people. And my whole thing, and I used to see dudes, we in out of juvenile hall, we hustlers. All of my friends, we burglarizing, tearing up stores, going in factories, at 9 and 10 years old. And we go to juvenile hall and we see dudes out of the projects and, man, they'd be there and like, damn, why in the fuck? Dude tell me one day, man, Mom, I don't know, I'd rather be in juvenile hall. I got my own bed, my mama's a wine on, my daddy's a drunk. I got kids, I go to school, my clothes smelling like piss.
Dang.
So the best thing ever happened to him was juvenile hall.
Right. 3 meals a day.
Every day he didn't have, so this is how to recidivate. So they take you out of there and put you back in the same situation. And we were just talking about it the other day. You get a dude ask me, well, man, Marv, after you did all that time, when I first got out of prison, they didn't have malls when I went to prison in '68. My mother
What did they have? Swap meets?
They didn't. They had swap meets. They
Made companies and stores
we had
retail stores.
J.C. Penney's, C. West, Newberry's, John Hardy's, Flag Brothers. We
Tom
had stores.
McCann.
You understand me?
Kenny Shoe Store.
I get out of prison. My mother take me to the Del Alamo Mall. In prison, everything goes clockwise. If you go counterclockwise, either you getting killed or you trying to kill somebody. Everything is clockwise. So I go to this mall, and everybody, my peripheral vision, I'm seeing white folks walk up on me and they bumping. They ain't giving a fuck, but I'm on a prison mentality.
Man.
I had to go to the car and rest, get a cooler.
Get the nigga mind right, man.
You dig what I'm saying? So it's a process. So me and Melvin, what we try to get youngsters to understand, no matter what your situation is, you have to renew your mind.
Definitely.
To rehabilitate yourself, you may have to come back to the same motherfucking hood. But I mean, I used to dip cigarettes like it was the thing. It kept my personality right.
Right.
And so, man, I used to dip
Talking about the Sherm
yeah,
stick,
super cools. I was a super cool giant. You understand me? And everybody was scared to death of Marvin and Sherm.
Right.
But when I got out of prison in '95, and I swore to God that if I had to change baby diapers or Kotex machines, I wasn't gonna do no more wrong. And I can be around somebody that's on PCP. It got nothing to do with me. You can smoke crack. You can smoke cigarettes. That's your life.
Right.
Oh man, I can't be around him. They drink. Like, nigga, what you scared of?
Right.
You have to put it in your own heart. And we have so many right now that's followers to the degree of maximum, and the leader ain't gonna do shit. You got a weak ass army when the leader's a coward.
And the crazy part, man, back then, like, Sherm and stuff, that shit was like normal. You know what I mean? I know some people like down talking or whatever, but if you always, when I talk to the older people and all that stuff, like Primos and Sherm and, you know what I mean?
But they look down on it because they stereotype it when you've always had a drug of choice for the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s.
It was something
like
different,
they using meth.
Yeah.
Like they use meth, the youngsters now, and a lot of youngsters still smoking PC speed, still doing crack and everything else, but they get ostracized because of the images of it. Like when cocaine came out, that was a status drug.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I heard you have to have money.
Right.
Money.
That's a status. You ain't getting nothing. If you buying a gram, it's $10. It's going to be $100 a gram. Wasn't no breaks.
Yeah.
But it was a rich man's high.
Primos and shit was like
all
players,
that. But every time I noticed when the blacks start getting money and getting the benefits of illegal drugs, they start criminalizing it.
Facts. So look, back in the day, you look at the cowboy movies and shit, right? And you got the motherfucking mayor and all that shit going to the whorehouse and all that shit.
Right.
And it was just normal. But when black people start pimping and all that shit,
Right.
you see
They
how
criminalize
they
it.
criminalize the shit now. You feel what I'm saying?
Right,
That's
right.
the fucked up way of this world, man.
But
I want to ask you too. You first generation out of your neighborhood?
Mm-hmm.
OG
Gangsta
status
Crip?
in this motherfucker, nigga.
You know that at once upon a time they used to call Campanella Shermanella.
Yeah, back in the day because
Nah.
Johnny Guest and all
Johnny
the big
Guest.
homies had
Yeah, that's my
that
boy
term.
Johnny Guest.
Yeah.
Johnny Guest.
They called us
a water
Shermanella.
cook, my bad boy, Johnny Guest.
On the original 9. back there.
Yeah, that's my boy. He was in prison with me in '79. Him and Donald McQuilla that got out and got killed. 5-1, Anderson, Peabody, Guy Walker, all them guys, Big Ant, Peabody, what my other boys' names that was up there? Old Man, Turtle, all these cats we grew up with doing YA, and I always think about Salty. That's my boy, cause I met Salty in about 1972 when they Compton Crips we was in there. And I remember, I think in 1972, 73, Keep On Truckin' was out. And we had a co-ed party. It was
What
me.
Keep on track. Was that a song?
It's
By
Eddie
Keep On
Kendrick.
Truckin', Eddie Kendricks,
Kendrick.
about 1972, 73.
73.
And it was me, Elmer Jones from Block. He ended up dead, got in a car wreck, got killed in 74. Then Salty got killed in about 76. So I always think back to that the time we were juveniles, having fun, dancing, and they gone, but I'm still here. It's a lot of incidents where people I grew up with, Tookie, the Raymonds, to where I've seen a lot of death since I was 14 or 15.
Especially being first generation.
Since I was 14 or 15 up to now. And that's the one constant about being in a gang. When you really been in that shit, you're going to always hear about a death. Somebody getting killed here. Because, you know, me and Marv, we're like ambassadors to the community. Marv made a mention that his area was 10 blocks. My area is 10 miles.
10 square.
My area
Compton's
is
10
3.
miles,
My
yeah.
area on the west side, which is known as Death Alley, is 3.8 miles. So you don't think if I've been in 3.8 miles, damn near 65 years of my life, I ain't gonna know everybody at its purest form. Forget whether you Crip, Blood, none of that matters. You don't think I'm gonna know your family?
Right.
So when these youngsters get killed, I got to answer to their grandmother,
You feel
their
the
grandfather.
You
You
feel
see how
the-
this game get?
you feel the spiritual impact of the
yeah,
death.
not only I know it because I probably know
Yeah.
the kid when he was born, to where I'd say, "Oh, that's such and such son," and then I'd say, so a lot of people don't go through the things that a real OG, by the way, doesn't mean opportunity giver. I mean, not opportunity giver. What they call it, original gangster.
Uh-huh.
That's a term that's been created to make it look like you're a first generation, when really you down the line. When you mention OG, that stood for original Crip or original Pyru. As far as us with Crips, it stood for original Crip. What do you see OG see? I went to the well to get a sip when I was surrounded by gangster Crips, although I'm barely allowed to tell this tale because the gangster Crips gave me so much hell. CC don't stand for Compton Crip, it stands for Crazy Crip. I drink my Coke, I tell no joke, we kill him, you chill him, and the mortuary seals him. That was said in 1972.
Yeah.
You don't hear no sets in there. Gangster Crip, East Compton Crip, CC. Don't stand for Compton Crip, it stands for Crazy Crip.
Nigga.
So that's before sets. So when they talk about rapping, they been rapping about shit. It just ain't been put on wax. They got a whole lot of shit that they say that they coined back then. So, you know, it's just a lot of things where we try to spread the history. Not to be flamboyant. It's nothing to brag about.
Yeah.
It's really not.
Yeah.
So I don't never get on here. I don't try to talk down. I try to just uplift.
Keep
and
it
build.
the way it is, man.
Did y'all used to frequent that skating rink on Rosecrans? It was a skating rink.
Rosecrans, he was a bowling alley first.
Okay.
Then it went to that's in the Gardena.
Right.
Rosecrans and what? Are you talking about the one on
Rosecrans
Central?
on,
It's a swap meet. It's a swap
Rosecrans
meet
up
now.
by-
Oh,
it's a
Gardena swap meet?
It's up by Gardena, up
It's
toward
Rosecrans
Prairie.
and Van Ness.
Yeah,
What
right.
is it?
Yeah. That's the Gardena swap meet now.
But let me tell you
It
about.
used to be a skating rink?
There used to be
Yeah.
a skating rink.
Let me tell you about that skating ring that used to go on there, where Pyrus are coming up there. You're gonna have them Crips over there, but because I'm in the 80s, but that's close to the hundreds, the 111th, all the ones down Gardena, Michael Conception, and all them in the 100.
Right.
So you knew, like they might say, we might go to Hollywood skating ring, Washington skating ring on the west side, but you knew when you went to that skating ring, Marv,
Knew where
the
you was at.
Pyrus is coming.
Yeah.
And the Denver Lanes and the Acton Park boys. You're gonna get some close activities encounter every Sunday at that skating ring
Right.
from them Pyrus or the Acton Park boys or them Denver Lanes coming up in there. I promise you that we've had many encounters up there at that skating ring.
Yeah.
Many.
I want to ask this question too, real quick. All right, like in Compton, you guys both know or whatever. Compton Pyrus beef with Compton Crips, right?
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, did it matter if you was from LA? Would you still be beefing with some Compton Pyrus, or like just because you a Crip, or did we just stay only beefing with the Compton Crips?
Basically, our beefs was with Compton, for Compton, with Compton. You know,
Right.
we didn't have too
So
much.
it didn't go out to LA
inclusion.
Crips or nothing?
I mean,
It
we
didn't-
didn't.
it didn't
hang.
make sense, right.
I mean, it ain't
Yeah.
like it didn't make sense, but it was just like, who know you?
Right.
You know, I used to sling Sherm. I started Sherm Alley in the jungle. I had a dope house at the La Rene Apartments on 8th Ave and 64th in 77, 78, 79. But it was like it was all a business. I'm from Compton. They ain't got no beef with me.
Facts.
You dig what I'm saying? So we did what we did. Everybody. One thing about Compton, everybody know Compton. We've been low riding, doing shit since the 60s. Victor Murphy had the first lifted car. You understand me? His Monza. We've always had polished cars.
When you say lifted car, you mean
Hydraulics.
Hydraulics,
The
yeah.
first.
Okay.
Victor Murphy was the first dude out of
With a
Compton.
lowrider.
With a low. But him and then his brother Bob Murphy. But he was a bank robber. You understand me? And he's getting his money the Smith Barney way. He took it.
Let me tell you how I met and got in contact to where I learned about Pyrus. Probably Halloween. It was a Halloween night because we had gave a party up at St. Andrews. They have it, the Halloween and the scare. So it was either, I'm going to say 72. About 72, at the most 73. But the first time I heard of Pyrus, Puddin' pulled up on me at his Kenny shoe store. Now, they don't came all the way from Compton on the
All the
west
way to the
side
other
of
side.
Manchester and St. Andrews. And Compton, they pulled up. Me and my boy Hillbilly, we sniffing glue, walking, cripped out.
Like glue that you have in
No,
the
the
classroom?
glue, yeah, dipping grip. The
Okay,
glue.
okay.
No, we sniffing glue. And then they had the top of the line that was called dripping grip. That's the gold medal, the top of the line where you had to walk
that's the Holy
5
Grail.
miles. Yeah. We stealing it. Only cost $2 or something, but we didn't have no $2. We stealing it.
Okay.
But the first time I heard of Pyrus was when Puddin' pulled up with another cat and said, "This ain't nothing but the root." I never will forget that. And I said, "This Crip," and cause I didn't know, cause back then there was no. There was no colors, wasn't none of that. Everybody,
you wasn't no
couldn't
color to
identify.
identify people.
But
No.
he said Pyrus, but I ain't never heard of Pyrus. It
'Cause
could
it's
be
only
Pyrus
and-
Crip.
Right. It's only
Now-
Pyrus and Compton.
Right.
So
We
you
ain't
didn't
got
have-
them
yeah.
over here. We
Right,
only
right,
15. They
Right.
just started.
Right.
And that's how I learned about Pyrus, because he showed busted on me.
Oh, what you mean, like shot? Or-
Yeah. No. When I met Puddin', he was shooting at me.
Oh, damn.
No,
the way
but
to-
this
that's
is
the
the
way to
type of
meet a
shit that was
motherfucker.
going on.
Yeah.
It wasn't no who you is, and you get no pads in 71, 72,
You a Crip.
73. Whether
he's
you
a
Crip
Power
or
Bro.
Blood, when we meet up,
It's up.
it's pretty first fit to go down once we find out. So when he said Pyru, I didn't hear Crip, but I didn't have time to even worry if he was a Crip. Because next thing I know, he was busting on us. And that's how I met Puddin'. Quite a few of them. Shaft. We up at Dinker Park. I'm sniffing glue, thinking it's Halloween night, but I don't went up there a day early. It ain't Halloween. So I'm standing on the fence sniffing glue, and I got a girl named Scoogie, Criplet Mary. And this about 73, 74. And we up there, this another Halloween night. I'm going up here to fuck with the Harlems, James Miller, Russell Caper, Kenny Robinson, Al Brett, Dennis Johnson, Michael Johnson, all the original Harlems.
OG
Dead
names,
Eye,
OG names.
Oh, Dead Eye, Forehead. But I don't went up here the wrong night. So I'm standing on the fence sniffing glue, cripped out. We got on our Pendletons, khakis, and she's standing with her Coca Sacks on khakis.
Coca
and a
Sacks.
car
We
pull
used
up.
to wear Kroger
A
sets
car
back in the
pull
day.
up, 4 dudes in it. Now, once again, they, this karate family. I don't hear Crip, so I tell them, this Crip. And they say, you a Crip? And they say, nigga, we ain't gonna whoop your ass. We gonna kill you. That was the exact words. It was Shaft. Shaft and 3 more of them. So after they said, we ain't gonna whoop your ass, I whisper in the girl ear, because I got a strap. I got a gun on me.
Was it in her purse or something?
No, I got it in her peacoat.
Okay.
So I tell her, don't say nothing, act like you scared, and don't run. So I go to telling them all, man, I don't want no problem, but I don't told her once they get out this car, I'm busting on these niggas.
Facts.
So I say, just don't act scared.
Okay.
Just let them get out. So we walking, and they coming out the car, Shaft, and I can say this, and me and Shaft ended up being the best of partners after he
That's what I
got
was
over
gonna
it.
ask you next.
Yeah, it took him 3 years because every time we seen each other was
It
on
was
till we got
friction.
out of high school.
Yeah.
And then as we got to be where he started hustling and all that, we ended up being the best of buddies after that when the long table came. He was part of that. So anyway, Shaft and them, they say, now we gonna kill you, man. So I tell her, act like you scared and just walk off a little bit. And when they get their asses out this car, I'm going to bust on their asses. And they got out and a gunfire ensued. I ran over a Harlem Crip mother. They mother took the gun from me and took me home. That's the type of parents. They
Damn.
didn't condone it, but at that time,
I got you, though.
she got me up out of there.
I got
And
you,
And so a lot of times you had encounters to where you didn't know where they was from because there wasn't no colors at this time. Wasn't no red and blue. You had to ask where you was from. And usually it'll be at the end of it, you'll hear the word term Crip. West Side Crip, East Side Crip, A-Trail, whatever, but it always ended in Crip. To whereas on our side of town, you got Van Ness Boys, T. Rogers, the Jungles, you
Big
got
Deals and all this.
Brims, you got Athens Parks, but they didn't. So they didn't have the whole conglomerate to where they were considered bloods.
Right.
They wasn't considered a whole as
Not yet,
bloods. That
not yet.
term hadn't even, because in fact, Marv, what y'all used to say, young bloods.
Yeah.
Hey, young blood.
Mm-hmm.
So that term was still being used. And we had started to use the term cuz, the opposite of young
Of the
blood.
blood, yeah,
So
yeah.
we started saying cuz. That's how cuz on our side started. Then also you had cuz who got busted in the Robert Ballou murder. So that term, and that kept that going too. So a lot of times with the term cuz we use on the west side.
What year do you think the colors came? That Crips was known as blue, Bloods was known as red.
Whenever they
Red,
started
red.
making cutoff overalls, because if you remember, Marv, correct me if I'm wrong, they didn't have cutoff overalls. You had to buy the whole strap. They didn't have them where you could put a belt on. You was in prison when they came out.
Yeah,
I don't think.
well, the color started because when you go to camp, everybody had blue rags.
Damn, they gave everybody one.
We in juvenile hall, and when you go to camp, you go to any camp you go to, you gonna get the rag tied around your head. It was a blue rag.
That's just what it was.
So that's what it was. And and YTS
That's
and on the
earlier.
trade line, they was everybody had a blue rag.
But
So-
when it come to go ahead. I'll answer that.
When Crippin started, they was wearing the blue rags in their pockets.
Left pocket?
Yeah, well, there was right power.
Well, it didn't matter back then.
They just had blue rags in their pockets. So when Punkin and Double Barrel Bob, when them 5.9s came, they used to wear stingy brims and they had red matches in their hats. So that's really kind of signified the bloodshot, the red and the blue.
Okay.
You figure what I'm saying?
Now I'm gonna give you my interpretation, cause on the west side and the east side in Compton, there was no colors. We were wearing red in '74. There was no distinction in colors on the west side. On the west side,
Until
they
when?
about 75, 74, they started making cut-off overalls. They wasn't making them then, but they came, usually the stripes are these white
Uh-huh.
and the stitching, or the blue. They made red stitching in the cut-off overall. So, for us on the west side, there was no distinction in color. In '72, we were wearing red. '73, what was the distinction for the Crips? On the west side and the east side, we wore cross earrings. Where the H
Like the
Deuce-
God cross, like
we wore
Jesus.
cross earrings. That's
Uh-huh.
how you knew who was a Crip.
Right.
The brims were one cuff up, one cuff down. The AC Deuces, which people don't know about hardly, over on Jeff.
I remember them, the AC Deuces.
Yeah, they over at Jeff.
I remember them.
What hood
This
is that
is
now?
when Kool-Aid got ran over at the parade. Howard Lundy, the Lundy Kool-Aid, and that happened in '72. So at that time on our side of town, the AC Deuces, they put the number, the card, the ace and the deuce.
What is
with the hair and
AC
that.
Deuce? What hood is that
They
now?
were Bloods, but
Okay.
they fought against Crips.
Okay.
But
they
that was
were-
like a hat, though. The AC
They
Deuce
wore
was
the
a hat.
AC Deucey hats,
Yeah,
but they used
yeah.
to put the ace deuce,
Yeah.
a card,
Yeah.
a number 1 and a number 2, but they end up going out a little while early. So on the west side, you were identified not by colors. The cross earrings
It's about what you
signified
had on, basically.
by
Yeah,
Crips.
yeah.
I got pictures in '73, '74 where they wearing red waistline, blue waistlines. We wearing turbans, bandanas, beanies. So
Before the colors,
he
yeah.
correct about how they gave out that, but on the west side, there was no colors in '72. The colors didn't come out over there to where we was looking at it to where, hey man, that mean they not Crips. Because we kept a blue rag. But we was using the blue rag as the juveniles for when we sniffing glue.
You hiding it, basically.
No,
yeah.
you could tie the bag up to keep it sealed. So the glue don't harden. And you put the bag of glue in your back pocket and your rag wouldn't leave. It wouldn't go nowhere because it's tying up. So we used that as a purpose too. Then we wearing brownies when we go to fighting.
Sock
and
niggas up,
socking
yeah.
and fighting
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like this. So we could this just go to show you can have two different answers, but they're both are correct. Because he's speaking from an older level, but I know on the west side we didn't look at colors. If you hear my mother, she'll be saying, I remember when Melvin, I went and stole a red Pendleton. And these are just normal conversations, but if you know the time frame, you'll say to yourself, that means colors wasn't out.
They wasn't.
No.
Now I heard Bloods used to say "loke" too before. It was before it was a Crip word. Bloods would say "loke." That's true.
Yeah.
It's niggas name that.
Yeah.
It's niggas name that in the hood.
And they got taxed. Loke's dog or Loke this, and that was their word first. Okay.
I remember
I
Buddha.
mean, it wasn't their word first. In juvenile hall, like we go back, that's what Mexicans call each other, loke.
Huh.
You understand me? As loke means loco.
Correct.
That's the term loco.
Correct.
So
Good call, Marv. That's some
call.
good shit right there.
I'm glad you corrected
That's some good
that.
shit. That's some good shit.
So that's where it came from.
Oh, we got $10 from Donnie Rue. Good looking gang. $10.
Blessings for that. Blessings. Yeah, man.
That's good shit, Marv.
another
that made
thi-
me think right there, man.
Another
Low.
thing, did y'all used to get all y'all? Where did y'all buy y'all clothes? Did y'all get them from the surplus?
We stole them from J.C. Penney's.
So
Get 'em.
y'all used to shop at J.C. Penney's.
We shoplift at J.C. Penney.
Now on the west side, we had the Western Surplus.
Yeah, Western-
where
See, that's
you
what
could
the
The
surplus.
Western Surplus is where you go get your
Khakis.
outfit to gang bang.
Bro, that's where we used to get all our clothes
That's where
from
you
the
go get the
surplus
whole
spot.
Surplus
like
store.
signing up for the army.
Every
You go
color
to the Western
khakis, every
Surplus.
color khakis.
Well, see,
We used to go to the surplus store.
Yeah.
On
Manchester and Western.
Western.
okay.
That's like a swap meet.
No, it's a store.
Nah,
It's just like, see, we
a
had
regular store.
out here. We had Sad Sack. Sad Sack was a surplus store
Yeah.
across the street from Sears before it was the swap before the swap meet on the Long Beach Boulevard.
Uh-huh.
Across when we was growing up, it was Sad Sack, and then they had another one on 108th and Avalon where the Watts Ride started. I got my first pair of bell bottoms out of that doing the Watts Ride.
Let me tell you a little history about the Western Surplus as far as history and black culture.
Okay,
Western
talk to us.
Surplus is the same store when they got the guns that shot George Jackson them when they tried to escape. When Angela Davis them, those guns were purchased from the surplus.
Angela Davis,
The Black Panther when they
Okay.
went and tried to save Jonathan, when Jonathan them went for George Jackson them at the trial of the Marin County for the murders. A lot of people don't know those weapons came out of the Western Surplus.
Right.
That was stolen?
No, they bought them there.
Okay.
In fact, the gun
That's where you
that
could buy guns out of that
you could
time.
buy guns. The gun that Tookie allegedly used in the murders of the 3 Koreans and the other man, that gun was purchased out there in '75.
Anybody could purchase a gun from
And
If
there.
you didn't
Western's-
have,
yeah.
yeah. Then you had Patty Hearst, the SLA, CQ. Those weapons were bought out the surplus. So a lot of these weapons that were being bought that were used in historical things come out the Western Surplus to where you could go with just basically ID and go get that. Tookie, that show you the level of Tookie record that he didn't have to where he was able to go buy a shotgun up under his name. So a lot of times you'll hear these myths about Tookie and these guys being killers. That's a bad rap. I never seen Tookie with a gun until after he got shot out in Compton. He never carried no gun. They couldn't be around at 18 around doing the shit we doing. They wouldn't last a day.
Right,
They'll get a
right.
life sentence.
Facts.
So the older ones that you hear that are 18 in 72, 73, 74, if you look at their records, you'll see after starting in 72, 73, they never went to jail again. They wouldn't have lasted. We got over 40 arrests between 1971 to 74 as juvenile. It's no way an adult could have stuck around and did what the young ones was doing, 72, 73, 74.
Right,
They wouldn't
right.
have lasted a day.
Right,
But we didn't let them do nothing.
Right.
We didn't let Tookie and them do nothing. They wouldn't even try. They didn't have to. We the younger ones. We the rebel rousers. And they didn't have no control over us to tell us. It wasn't that type of party on the west side where somebody called them. We had unity and camaraderie ship to where we all knew each other. We left together. We gonna come back together.
Straight up. I can say that about my big homies too. Like when I first started off when I was young, I was playing football and I was venturing off, but they didn't let me, be from the hood
We
for
wouldn't
a while
if-
because I had, the football shit going on. So I always respected that about myself.
Most OGs that were coming up, most young black men are athletes and have all
Yeah.
type of talents.
Yeah.
But they choose the corners or the streets as opposed to their real God-given ambition. When you can go to a job where every day you go, and every day you go where you go and you getting paid, then one day you go to that job and they ain't paying you. Now, are you going to stay there
No.
and go to work?
No.
No, that's because that ain't your passion.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get paid a dime for what we do, risking our life,
Facts.
but we do it because it's our passion.
Ooh.
It's what we want to do.
Ooh.
Now, we'll die for this.
Mm-hmm.
I will. I'll die for when people sit and label people or talk about California, West Coast, and this and that. Anybody. Let's just step to the mic and let's talk about the history of what you talking about and the history about what we doing. You ain't gonna match up. So we do what we do because we I feel, me personally, I owe it back to myself, to my mama, to the community, to make people proud of me. And to keep this legacy to where we can make a difference, and we are making a difference.
Definitely.
It's just that it ain't the glamorous shit to where they yakking and stuff. This is a cold game.
Yeah.
It's a cold game to where the truth, they don't want to hear the truth.
Right.
They'd rather listen to a lie and go on with this bullshit where it's at an age now, this 2022, to where we ought to be talking about some positive shit, particularly as grown men, 45-year-old men worrying about what some kids say on the lyrics. Ain't nothing you can do to challenge no lyrics. The only thing you can do is change the conditions of the lyrics that they speaking of. If
Say
you
that.
ain't doing no robbing, you ain't going no killing, they ain't gonna talk about that.
Say that. Say that.
Right.
So all that about the rap lyrics is making a dent in and making this where people are looking at that and influence them. I think that the parents that let their child look at that shit should be held accountable, particularly when they ain't an age to where they should be looking at it. You have to be held accountable to where you're using the internet, to me, as a high-priced babysitter for you to go where you sit a kid right in front of the TV. You ain't got to worry about him commenting. You can go and do the other things you want instead of getting a nanny or something. That's a cheap way of keeping a kid occupied. I think that's wrong. Just my personal opinion.
You know, if you read in history, I mean, if you read in like ancient books, like let's say like some Plato, the Republic. In that book, it discussed how kids shouldn't even be allowed to listen to certain types of music. Specifically music about war and violence and shit like that. You should have restrictions on what you listen to because of the influence. And it's just like our society, like the way it is, you know what I'm saying? You even being able to listen to gangster shit at a young age is really kind of dangerous when you really think about it.
Because they soak all that in.
Because you're getting influenced by the lyrics. There's no, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's no way to, you know what I'm saying? You should be listening to. That's why, like, even now, when I want to be in a certain type of state of mind, I'm listening to music without no words. I'm listening to jazz, you know what I'm saying? Or something, if I to control the emotions, because if I listen to some, you know, some gangster shit, it's gonna affect me. Even and I'm of sound mind, and it's still gonna have an effect on me. You feel me? So yeah, I feel what you're saying. Yeah. Now, as far as like the different things you do for the community, have the rhetoric that Charleston White been putting out there, has that affected what y'all been doing? That ain't made people look at what y'all doing negatively in no type of way?
No, we still go around talking to kids, entertainment. We ain't had the only thing, viewers on that little, I call it the chitlin circuit.
Right.
That's the chitlin circuit. All that bullshit on there, that's a one-sided. It don't stop us from doing nothing we doing. We still going around America, mentoring youth, talking at schools, doing accelerated radios. We own numerous boards. We own mixed martial arts, youth mixed martial arts. We credible messengers. We work with Stop the Violence in Ohio with Mr. Stop the Violence. We work in Compton. Marv work with politicians. We do all kind of stuff. So I don't, people sit and hear this shit where from a rat and something, and they don't have the shit. I just don't even pay no attention. I don't even look at the internet. So as far as my life ain't predicated on the internet. I don't make a dime off of that with no buster ass shit.
I feel you.
All right, that's why I'm pretty sure you don't give a fuck about that Wack 100 shit.
We ain't even asked him about that yet.
I mean, everything. They say the pen is mightier than the sword.
Definitely.
So if you allow people to say things and you don't stand on it, when you stand. We stand on right. As sometimes I be on the left. You know, that just balance shit out. You know, I go to Juma prayer every Friday and pray so I can sin Monday, do the thing. God know I'm a nigga. You understand? He didn't make me a saint or a preacher, nothing. I'm just a nigga trying to be a better black man. So it's certain things people can say, but whatever they say, like this dude tells about, look at our work. Look at our work. All you people that are talking, you're not in your hood. You're not sitting in Gonzales Park. You're not. I can go to any park in Compton.
Facts.
I can go to any park in LA with him. I ain't going by myself. Not too much. So when you see our work, all these old niggas this and it sounded fabulous the first 15 minutes. But when you see our body of work and you see the affection we getting from youngsters all over the United States, there's a difference. You understand me?
Because ain't nobody supporting that nigga, man. I can't stand that nigga, dog.
But, you know, he's a ploy. See, white folks don't never say nothing about us white folks, but they always send a coon.
Definitely.
Don't nobody hurt us but us.
Facts.
You feel what I'm saying?
Facts.
So this, like we was talking about growing up, we got 30 years of OGs out the way. They either went to crack or stayed in prison. So most of you kids grew up by yourself. And here come a nigga and to come back telling you, blood, this is what we used to do. Well, if you did that much, you'd be on death row. You understand what I mean?
Wait a minute. How did you even get into it with him? How did y'all
Wack.
how did Wack 100 even start saying your name and having issues with you?
He's I call him our West Coast Charleston White.
Okay.
He brings up all kind of erroneous. He all in Compton business, talking about what Fruit Town and Treetops do. That's not your business. Oh, you can't come up to the park and you can't. You know what I'm saying? Well, why would I come to Gonzales Park? You can't even go to Gonzales Park.
No, you can't.
You understand me? His whole bodyguard, he thought he had it in because he was fucking with Wacko. When Wacko cut his water off, he ain't been back to Compton yet.
Facts.
He been in Dubai, he been to Jamaica. He don't even go to Pacoima.
Facts.
His homies over there. So it got to a position where it really, it's certain things that affect me. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
So he got on a podcast one day, hooping and hollering about Suge Knight and what he did for Suge. And so Suge Knight had a civil case that Terry Carter's wife them tried to sue him for. He ain't got $80 million.
Right.
But it's a white ploy that's against Suge. Suge did it to himself. But all he tried to do was help homies. Everybody talk that shit about Suge. Suge's not even a gangster, but he ain't ratted on nobody.
Definitely haven't.
Bone told on him. I got paperwork that Bone told them my name before he even got to the hospital.
Bone from Anthony?
Yeah.
He told?
I got a police report. He didn't say Big Marvin. He said Ayatollah. He said Marvin Kinsey.
Why you put your name in there?
That's what I'm saying. Why in the fuck you put my name in it? Because, I mean, and this what brought the police to me. They didn't know me and Knob about nothing.
Damn.
Until somebody else told them. So this dude get on the podcast, yeah, man, these niggas snitching, and this nigga across the street talking about Knob's house, right? Yeah, man, across the street from Tam, them niggas over there snitching. So I'm like, wait a minute, bro.
Them niggas.
First of all, you don't want no part of mob. You don't want no part of that.
Definitely.
So I'm like, wait a minute, bro. Where is this dude coming out? We hearing all this different stuff. And in 2015, Game, they did a video with Drake. And they was all on Black Wall
Okay, I remember that.
I went to that motherfucker.
We was all over there. Everybody was kicking. He pulled up in this little vehicle. Oh, that's Game manager. Quiet. He talking about Meek. He was standing right up under Wacko.
The whole time, yeah.
White Boy Rob's son and Game get into it. white boy Rob's son come up and like, blood, why you disrespecting? You did game like, nigga, what is you talking about?
Gaming from the hood and all that shit.
So
Yeah, I seen that shit.
So he like, man, blood, you know, you can't do this and this and that. So Wack was like, homie, this nigga Wack 100 said, oh, he got a gun. Him and Drake run all the way to the back of the room.
Yeah.
You understand me?
And Drake went to went to like a park or something
Yeah.
until the shit died down.
You know, so, dude, I know you when you know, you wasn't saying I was the big homie. So now you turn around, I don't know him. You know, I don't know that nigga. So we went to Adam 22, and he asked me about Wack 100. Is he a Pyru? I said he ain't from Compton.
Oh, so that's what he mad because you say he ain't from.
Yeah,
but he not from Compton.
He not from Compton.
Yeah, he from Pacoima.
So, man, if you a Pyru, anybody can be a Pyru.
Yeah.
But everybody ain't from Compton.
Right.
You understand me? Baba Louie made everything on the east side. There wouldn't have been the east side without Baba Louie.
Right.
But Baba Louie is not from Compton.
Yeah, he started off in L.A., right?
He started off. Terry and Ralph is his cousins, and he came over to Pyru Street.
Uh-huh.
But he was raised. He came out of the avenues.
Yeah, he was raised around Crips, right?
Yeah, he was raised out of the avenues, and he went. Him and Raymond Washington. That's where Melvin was talking about. They start wearing the earrings with the cross in them.
Uh-huh.
That's identified Crip. They was the first, and they cut all their hair off, bald headed. That's how they first started. So I said that dude wasn't from Compton. So he gets.
Is that all that was said, or what?
That's all I said.
Uh-huh.
And he like, oh, he ain't from Compton. I'm like, no, he. You know, I don't like dudes his little get on. You know what I'm saying? I don't never see him in his own hood, but he's always hollering this on Pyru.
And when you say you don't like to get out about him fucking with snitches and always talking crazy.
Just, man, everything you do and you say on Pyru, and you got people in other states thinking you run our city.
Yeah.
Hey, remember I told you they think he's the number
You know,
one.
you go some man, Wack 100, he this and that. He like, bro, man, you mean he don't come to Compton every day, Mar? I'm like,
no, he has nothing to do with Compton
at all. So I said it. So he went on his podcast, what is it, Clubhouse, and said that
You got it, the podcast.
he goes on there and say, this old nigga, when I see everybody gonna be mad at me. When I see him, I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna knock him out. I'm like, so when I hear about it, I'm like, man, they call me like, man, you know what this nigga said? So I said, yeah, okay, well, I got 10 bands that say you can't knock me out.
Straight up.
Man, many times I done been beat out by professionals.
Right.
I'm 72 and still got hands. This fat boy here cannot. He doesn't have the element to knock me. I don't even believe he could whoop me. I don't even.
He spoke bad, bro. He said you was.
I was timid.
Yeah, man. I can't even envision that, bro. I can't even envision that talking to you, bro.
Man, timid. I've never been timid.
You tried to say.
Well, you let me hear the phone call, and when Marv said pull up, you know what I mean, we were meeting at.
It sounded.
The nigga hung up.
Hung the fuck up.
I heard it.
You dig what I'm saying?
Head.
So here you are. You the one timid. When you didn't had 147 phases, they never showed up for none of them. So now I'm not gonna let you get away now. First you said you was gonna knock me out. Now you gonna hire a hitman to kill me.
Yeah, that's what he said. So,
That's what he said.
Yeah.
talking about, I'm gonna show you what this bag will do.
Is he the police doing the same talking like?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, ain't it? Though? I don't mean to cut y'all off real quick. The chat is getting mad because we not responding back. But the homie that donated the $10, my boy Donnie Rue from Cross Atlantic, had a question. Donnie, put up your question again because I didn't see it, so we can answer it. All right, come on, let's continue.
That's my boy there, Donnie Rue.
Yeah,
that's
my dog. That's my dog, man.
Youngster.
It's just crazy how that nigga saying that type. That's police shit. I wouldn't even tell a nigga what I'll do to him. I'm just gonna do it. You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm serious about it. I mean, a nigga that's tell you what he go do, he can't be serious about it. He just talking.
He might be.
If you don't think, see, that's the problem.
That nigga weird.
People would say, oh man, they talk bad. They ain't talking bad. They talking up. Y'all got to realize every alphabet agency watches all this
Definitely,
shit.
definitely.
The DEA, ATF, Homeland Security, and so all that shit. When they be saying that shit, they gonna get a call or they monitoring. So it's best not to even. I don't even respond to none of that shit because half of them got more graduation pictures than mug shots. So when they get arrested, ain't nothing gonna happen to them. They gonna get to walk out that door and tell on somebody where they know these the type of guys that'll come out and create some havoc. We need to take the opportunity to kick their ass on out the street to whereas somebody that's not really a threat, they ain't gonna do nothing but let you be king shit or turd either.
Okay. How did the separation start with the gangster Crips and in the neighborhood since everybody was Crips?
That started after Tyrone got killed in 1979 to where Monster Cody and them were getting into a little spat because Horace Mann Junior High, like I said, we didn't have older guys. This is the next generation down. Because now they 8 Trade gangster Crips when we was at the beginning. So now this the next generation, the Monster Codys, the football, the LA 4, Mad Bone, and all these cats. So now they getting into it at Horace Mann, and Big Rick brother, who was in high school, came down to a junior high, and they got into a fight, but a guy shot Big Rick's brother that wasn't even from A-Trade. He didn't have nothing to do with it. He wanted to be. So that happened March or so of 79. And I got arrested for a jewelry store robbery August, right after Raymond got killed, and Tookie got arrested in February. And when I got arrested by the FBI and the robbery murder division over there at Brayford House, Sidewinder, there were rolling 60s in there because we had did a jewelry store lick. So it wasn't no dissension then. Then Rayford got shot over Big Rick House in the start of 80. But at that time, I still was out, and the roots and the core of the gangster Crips were still around. So when we went to jail and started going to prison in 79, when Rayford got shot, that's when the war actually started, to where it was really over Rayford getting shot over Big Rick House. So the war didn't start, which, if that's what you want to call it, a war. The conflict didn't start till 1980, but everybody will say it was over Big Rick brother. That war didn't start until Rayford and them, Baycott and them got shot over there. Baycott, excuse me.
Somebody got shot. That's how that shit started.
Yeah, a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
See, Rayford and them are gangster Crips. They wasn't West Side Crips. They come in when the set started. So a lot of the guys now, they souring their oats to get their names. See, our names already had been out.
Facts.
Now that's when Rayford started taking over, because we going to prison. So Rayford had a lot to do with a lot of things, but that's how that war started in 1980. Not over Big Rick's brother getting shot.
There we go. Much love and respect, Donnie Rue. That's my dog right there, man. I want to ask you a quick question real quick. So I seen a documentary on Monster Cody, right? And he was talking about how, the 8 Trays in the 60s was our allies at first, but a fight happened.
That's the fight at the school.
Yeah, and then somebody that was from 8 Tray, they didn't even know the nigga that long, I would ever shot somebody from
Shot
60.
Big Rick's brother, Tyrone.
Oh, that's the same
That's
thing he
the incident.
About? Okay, all right.
That's Tyrone.
And that started.
But I raised
Tyrone,
and Big Rick's my boy. See, we all come up together. I knew Tyrone when he was a little kid.
Right.
So when Tyrone got killed, we were all out. It wasn't that big of an issue because they knew it didn't come from us.
Right. And it was really somebody from
It was somebody
that just got put on the hood.
If he even was on the hood.
Okay. And
if he was even on the hood.
And the 60s was mad because they was like,
well, I ended up going
hood.
to jail. That's so when that shit started, I don't know what transpired, but I know prior to us leaving in the Corps, There was no problem behind that.
Facts.
So nah, I can't say, but I know for a fact he write in that book. But that was Tyrone. But that is not what got them to really rocking and rolling. It was after the shooting happened in front of Big Rick house.
That situation
That's
is the real situation.
where the niggas got personal.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I heard somebody else told me too that the dude that did that was supposed to be from HA or whatever. They say he was from 90s now or something.
Yeah, he
like
supposed to
that.
have been from some where they would start 9 Gangster Crip or something like
So
that. But
now
like I
he's from
say,
there.
I was in jail. I was going to jail for a jewelry store robbery, August '79, and they wasn't having no problems when they came and arrested me over there. They had rolling 60s that were inside the house with Rayford hiding out. So it wasn't nothing going on at that time. It's after
When you was home. So
Right,
so you have to hear about y'all feuding in jail.
No,
basically.
I already knew that the little stuff behind
little
Tyrone, but that
friction,
was
yeah.
junior high stuff.
Uh-huh.
We in high school.
Okay.
That's no more different when we were in junior high and they were cafe boys and Smack and Tookie and them were in high school.
Mhm.
They looked down at this shit as junior high shit.
Little
They ain't-
junior high, little
that's so
bullshit.
we wasn't getting involved in that shit. That's a little junior high spat. We're a little older. We 17. At that time, 79, I'm going on 21, 22.
Okay, yeah.
But I had been up under the juvenile. I never went to a county jail. I always was state raised. YA, Nellis. I never went to a county camp. So when I got off parole, juvenile at 21, because I was a juvenile commitment, I started going to prison that year. That was the first time I went to prison that year. But up until then, they hadn't had, it wasn't that serious of a beef until the shit happened in 1980.
So so when it did happen in 1980, when it got serious, were you on the streets or were you in jail?
I was in prison.
You was in jail at that time.
Mhm.
So now that it became serious and shit, when you was in jail, was shit different now? Now that I got to fight
It
each
hadn't
other?
even reached.
It ain't made it to the
well,
jail
you got
yet.
to remember the Crips were just starting to come from being juveniles, which most of them was, to where they're even eligible.
So it never bled on to y'all in jail.
No,
yet.
later
Not at
on
that-
it did.
Yeah, later on, but not just
not
at
in
that time.
79,
Uh-huh.
80, not then. It was still, they were going into being CCOs, Blue Notes, Vanguards, and before that, Black Coats, Archie Crump and them. So they were starting to break off into factions as Crips, but we were still unified, like me, Guy Walker, Russell Capers,
Where these people from? You name it right
all
now?
them were Crips, heavy hitters that are still.
Just West Side Crip.
They are West Side, Compton Crips, Big Ant, Zoom. These were Crips that were James Miller, Bertie Swan. All these are heavy critters, East Side, West Side. But we're just starting to come from YA to where we're going in there to where the game don't change. Whereas we were the predators on the streets, we had numbers. Now the game don't change to where we going in here against the BGF, Mexican Mafia, the police, and all these people where they've been hearing about a black gang that's been fighting, and they're pro-black. And now we coming up in here with these prison gangs, which is a whole different ball game.
So
Where we didn't know nothing about getting a ducat and then going to the dental call and they waiting on you in there where they don't did a fake ducat on you.
Oh,
We
and they
didn't-
get you in there and they try to
Goddamn
whoop
right.
you out.
We didn't
you
know
what I
because
mean?
they, like Marv said, they ran the BGF. When I first got there, to show you how powerful the BGF and the Black Panthers and all them was, they had a police named Ernie. Because I hadn't even heard of a BGF or none of that at this time.
So you saying they had a police on their
They had
team?
they had a police named Ernie that was working there. The BGFs and the Black Panthers had put a dude on the bus from San Quentin, where they got him on the bus for a transfer, to come down to Soledad to stab a police. But he stabbed the wrong one, and he stabbed a dude named Ernie. So when we went on lockdown, they had the 7-up lifers. That's where they 7 and they eligible. And a lot of them, I hadn't even knew what a BGF or nothing was.
Hold on, 7, what is that?
7 up. That means they eligible everything back when Marv went to prison.
7 to life. 7 to life.
7 years to life?
Yeah, that a first degree murder.
Damn.
First degree murder was 7 years to life. You do maybe 11, 12 years on that.
But it's still life in there, let you go in 11?
Yeah, life without a possibility was 14 years, 9 months. So right now you can get 14 years for spousal abuse.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Right.
The thing.
Right.
So
crazy as
they go
times
down
change.
there and they stab Ernie.
Uh-huh.
We go on lockdown, and I never will forget it. They had a song called Money. Doom, 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 doo, 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 Pink Floyd. And this is when you could have the turntables. You damn near could have refrigerators, and the white boys wearing they red, white, and blue.
In jail.
And but they putting out the war call for when these gates rack. Some shit for the start.
Okay.
So they lining up, talking that shit. And a dude told me, those dudes that did this, we BGFs. And this and that. And that's when I first learned the BGFs is when they stabbed and the Black Panthers, and then the riot occurred after that. And we learned quickly. And then
BGF is a prison gang?
Black Guerrilla Family.
Black
Yeah,
Guerrilla
you ain't
Family.
never heard of that?
Yeah.
Nah, I hear about UBN or some
Yeah,
shit like
yeah,
that now.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That wasn't
Yeah.
even existing back
UBN
then.
didn't start till 87.
Okay.
I think way back relative was in that. Way back, Debrisha husband was in that died. You know what I'm talking about?
I was in the UBNs.
No, he was a Black Gorilla Family, I think.
What's his name?
No, matter of fact, I heard of Black Gorilla, but when
Huh?
you say it
What's
with
his
the
name?
B,
You talking
whatever.
Doc
His name is
Holliday,
Duke.
Ray Brown,
Duke.
and all these
Duke.
dudes are heavy hitters,
BG.
and yeah.
See,
they
I
are.
always hear it as Black Gorilla
Actually-
Family. I don't hear it as
actually, Mel-
BGF, you know?
Ray was never a BGF.
He was. What was he?
He was caught up with Doc
Yeah.
in the murders, and that's how him and Ricky Bonneville. This is what made New Man, New Woman. When we in the county jail in 1750, me, Tookie, Jan Brewer, Doc, Ray. Ray got a visit. We in the cages, and when Rick going on his visit, he hollers at Hazel over the top of Ray. Ray turn around and ask him, "Nigga, fuck you doing?" Tell the nigga, "Fuck you." They get into it. So Ray comes back to 1750. He tells Doc what happened. So, "Man, I'm gonna get at this nigga." So the next day, Doc get a visit and he see Blade. He tells him, "Hey, cool, check this out, man. That's my boy." And Rick tell him, "Nigga, fuck you. Nigga, what the fuck you talking about, old ass nigga? I'm get." Doc telling me, "Yeah, okay." So, next couple of days, Doc comes out on a attorney visit. Ricky Bonneville stabs him in the neck with a number 2 pencil.
God damn.
You dig what I'm saying? So that made the bridge. So now when Rick come to the penitentiary, he starts BGF, New Man, New Woman. Take CCO's Blue Notes and bring them in, Faraji, all them become, so they put a hit on all the old dragons. But Ray was never a BGF. You understand me?
Damn, Old Dragon is another prison gang?
Those are original BGFs.
Oh, okay.
They're from the first start,
Uh-huh.
a BGF with Doc Holliday them, it's the Dragon. So that is the Call of the Dragon. Then when 82, 83 came, they became the Crip part of the BGF.
Uh-huh.
It's called New Man, New Woman.
That's what it's called, New Man, New Woman?
New Woman, and they put a hit on all the old. But I was in YA with most of them growing up, right?
They put a hit on the niggas who started it?
Yeah.
Quick message to the chat real quick. When a dude name is I think that says Line Stepper or Line Sleeper, I can't really see from right here. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all ignore him. Just ignore him when he get the trolling and all that shit. Just pay attention to us. Don't really pay attention to that nigga.
I should block him, man.
Yeah, don't even feed into that. But yeah, man. Damn. This was a good interview, man. I learned a whole lot. It was a whole lot of history and experience between y'all, man. I give it to y'all, man. Y'all been doing this shit for a long time, and y'all still here pushing for the generation, man. Y'all got my respect. I got my respect, man. You want to get the reader listener before we get out of here, BossMack?
Oh man, I wasn't even. I was just gonna let them flow and glow, man.
They looking kind of tired. I'm tired.
y'all, hey man, we appreciate y'all done did 2.5 hours, man. I ain't trying to burn y'all out, man.
Oh, we can always
We
return,
do this for a
man.
living.
We can always come back and chop it up.
Yeah, yes sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
So
Y'all friend of
it's
the
just
show.
important to us, to me and Melvin, just we trying to create a new dynamic when it comes to urban education.
Uh-huh.
And that to let these, before the Republicans and the Democrats, they was the Whig Party and the Federalists. They was a gang,
Yeah.
and they was against England.
Right,
And they
right.
said fucking, and they called this thing called the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah, I
Right.
heard about that.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
facts.
they rebelled. You understand me? We just haven't had enough extenuation to call out to show our youngsters who the real enemy is. It ain't us. We and like I say, it's in this 10 square miles. I got a petition. I gave Keon in the petition. I'm trying to change either Willowbrook or Wilmington to President Barack Obama. Right? It ain't take but 3,000 signatures. If all the gang members say we got 3,000 motherfucking crackheads.
Yeah, I'll sign that
You
shit.
dig what I'm saying? So when we go, a city can only go as what the people tell them. We don't tell them nothing. We go to the parks, but we don't control it. We don't control parks and recreation, but it's for youth, huh?
Facts.
So all of this shit that the city does that goes into youth recreation, they give it to the fucking police. They get $250,000 budgets for recreation, and now they make promoting young snitches like Charleston White is doing, and buying guns and shit. And the only ones that's profiting from it is Mexicans. Where's our black kids at? Why we ain't? I said, man, you come to Compton, you gonna be disappointed. We don't have one black restaurant in Compton
Say that.
that we can go and eat at.
Damn,
don't
I
have-
didn't realize that, bro.
What?
We don't got nowhere we can sit down.
We don't have no club. Every city in the I done been to 40 states in the United States and 5 foreign countries. And every state in the South is somewhere black. If you go to the South, if you want to find niggas, look for Martin Luther King. Because it ain't no Martin Luther King in the white neighborhoods. Nowhere in America.
Right.
If you want to find out what a dope is, go to Central, go to the bus station. That's where all the dope heads hang out.
Uh-huh.
If you want to find out where the parties are, go to the black college.
Facts.
They playing dominoes, they'll tell you where it's going on and this and
It's
this.
going the
This is
fuck
how
up.
you have territories in the South that you can go to, the same as the East Coast. Compton, you come to everybody. You know, Piru Street is the biggest named city west of Broadway in the world. Everybody every day mention Piru.
One way or another.
Yeah.
All over the world, 10 square miles.
You
We've been
right.
putting oppression on a whole people, and we ain't did shit for ourselves.
Facts though.
Singing them right
Facts
now,
though.
boy.
Facts though. That's
All
like a
factual shit,
tourist. That's
nigga.
like a tourist attraction. That street,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm
Yeah.
seeing people come to town.
That's
I'm
a
seeing
tour-
people drive up the road
And they ain't
take
got
pictures.
take pictures, but got nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go.
We got
dog.
all of these rappers claiming Piru, and nobody put a studio for young rap. But you'll fuck off $25,000 in a strip club.
Right. And then
But
Dre,
we put no demands.
Right.
We put no demands on these niggas.
and then
I feel
Dre
you.
do it at Compton College. We all can't go to
Compton
Compton
High School.
Compton- we can't go to
But
Compton
see,
High
but
School.
but
You know what I mean?
no,
we need something for both
the
sides.
Yeah, the twist was that Dre tried to get Central Avenue. But I did.
He tried to do what to Central Avenue?
I did Dre Day when Dre is the first black billionaire out of Compton.
Right.
And I made June 19th Dre Day. The mayor them told me you can't do it. We don't want to promote this and that. You can't tell a private
not?
citizen what to do.
Right.
So the next year when I did it, and they did a straight out of Compton here, the bitch was all on top of them.
All of a sudden, yeah.
All of a sudden, so they were selling the bowling alley. They wanted $1.5 million for
Which bowling alley? Where's that?
on Central. It
It's
used
a
to be.
bowling alley?
It was Skateland. You know about
Yeah,
Skateland.
yeah, okay, yeah, Skateland,
It was
okay.
it was Woodley Lewis Bowling Alley. That's what it was originally before Skateland.
Right,
It was some
right.
shit before you niggas was born.
Definitely before I was born. Before I was born, definitely.
So they wanted $1.5 million for the property. Right? So after Dre talked to them, the city of Compton, they fucked around and They say, well, now they want him to give up $10 million for a $1,500,000 property.
Right.
That he gonna put this stuff in. Now they gonna try to jack him.
What the?
So I go to the school board and I tell Satra, like, man, check this out. Asia Brown them tripping. So she goes and tells him, like, well, check this out. We'll put it in the school. We'll do it, her and Makai Ali, talk to him. He like, okay, shit. I'll get it 10 million yards. It's a write-off for him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
So it went from about to be over there.
Yeah,
On
so-
Central, so now they do it to the school.
So now, okay, they do it to the school. Put a performance where the drafting building was right on Oleander. They were supposed to rebuild that and make it an educational arts building.
Okay.
So they masturbated with the money for 5 years, right? Put $10 million in the bank, drawing interest. How much interest you get for $10 million? Then they get a $200 million bond, so they tear down all of Compton High School and push his $10 million in with the school and say, we're building the school.
Oh man.
Man, the fucking
Political
mayor,
gymnastics.
government, all the motherfuckers is janky, homie.
You know? But see, they janky because we allow them to be.
Right.
If we push up, see, we're the only race of people don't make our people that talk for us accountable. If a motherfucker said something about Pyrus and they found their kids hung up on the tree in the morning, a motherfucker would stop. In Mexico, if Galvan say some stupid shit about Compton or these Mexicans, one of his people will be fucked up. Like the Godfather, when they was getting ready to testify and he seen his brother there. Oh no.
Yeah,
Ain't got
that was
shit
a
to
good
say.
play. That was a play right there.
You feel what I'm saying? So we allow these coons to make judgments on us. You got Messy Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton coming to talk about a problem in Compton, and they can't deal with the problem they got in Chicago and New York.
Straight up.
So we get a lot of motherfuckers coming here talking, man, well, this is what Melvin them need to do for Crips. You ain't never stayed in our neighborhoods. But we allow them to talk.
Right.
And we fight each other when these are the enemies.
It's a plain, he can put it as plain as it can be. Plain as it can be, homie. I'm rocking with you, Marv.
That's what we got to do.
Whatever we got to do, man, to get this shit right, I'm rocking with you, Marv.
Man, we can get it right. We can get it right.
We just got to put in that footwork.
Yeah, and it ain't for everybody. Success ain't for everybody.
That's right.
See, Suge would have been a lot better in his whole venture if some niggas that he fuck with, he should have bought him a Happy Meal and kept him right at McDonald's.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't take everybody with you.
You can't.
No,
You can't.
everybody don't know how to act.
Facts, especially the niggas that was hanging around Suge.
You know.
You can't take everybody, dog.
Yeah, I remember when it was happening. I was like, man, niggas is ignorant, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Hey, man, we appreciate y'all coming to tap in with us, man. We appreciate y'all coming to tap in a little 2.5 hours,
Hey,
man.
change that up there. I see. Look behind you, Marv. I just noticed something. Marvin Farmer. Change that up, man. You got that.
Oh,
bad.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
There
we
you
got
go.
to-
Yeah.
We got to change that up, man.
BossMack get a little old sometimes. Do old man shit.
Selective amnesia. is what
Yeah,
I call it.
man. Yeah,
Yeah, that's that selective amnesia, man.
My bad. That's a disrespect.
They say we
No,
all.
it ain't no
they
disrespect.
they say we all.
Selective
We just all look alike. You
Right.
understand?
Let me get that right, man. Let's correct that right now, man.
Okay, man, you got some.
It was right on the artwork. The artwork was right, though.
Right.
Before we leave, we're going to take a quick picture and then we all out of here, man.
I'm glad he caught that, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All
right, y'all.
We out of here.
To take the pictures and stuff.
Yeah, we got to take a picture.